truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the listen blue shouting. No script, no leash, no polished choir. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. The world's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
Happy Monday, everybody. What is going on? I know what you're thinking. Why is he late? And what the heck happened to his background? Yeah, I know. Listen, folks, I apologize. I am having issues, tech issues. I changed my light to better capture the essence of Ace's face, which I know you guys all want, and it screwed up my green screen. So I was dealing with all kinds of camera issues, and it just was taking too long. So I finally just ripped it down and said, all right, we're going back to the old days. You guys get to see the old pop culture entertainment background, and which, I probably should have posted last night when I was talking to Tom, but it is what it is. But listen, the show will be the same. You guys aren't going to miss out. I'm bringing the same fire. I just don't have the cool patriotic background right now. I'll get back to it. Just tech issues, man. The stupid stuff drive me crazy. But listen, thank you all for being patient with me. I apologize for being a few minutes late. So happy Monday. My God, we got so much to get into. Wow, Lindsey Graham died. It is the anniversary 2 years ago when Trump was shot. Iran is heating up. We're getting all kinds of insights into what's going on with the deep state City of London globalists, their panic. We have all kinds of the commies, man, taking over the Dems and the panic going on there before the midterm. So what a day, what a show. We have a lot going on. So let me say hey to the peeps in the chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Gonna call you guys out, the peeps who showed up early, and then we're gonna get running. All right. So first of all, well, I already got a couple super chats. So Dante Joyner says, really enjoyed the vid with Tom. Keep pushing, brother, getting the message out. Thank you so much. I really had fun. If you missed that live last night, I know it was very different than what I usually do, than even what Tom usually does. But I got to tell you, I think it's important in a different way. Culture ultimately is the arrow that points the direction of where we're going to see our politics go. And one of the main drivers of culture is our entertainment. And film is a big part of that, our art in this country. And so, yeah, Tom and I talked a lot about movies last night. And movies, the importance of film, mythos, all that in America and the West. So I hope you guys do check it out. It is different. It's worth a look for sure. So, what is playing in my background? I'm sorry, guys. I did not see that sound playing. I don't know what that is. Weird. But I took it off. Very strange. Okay. Sorry about that. Weird. All right. That, I don't know what that was. I don't know where that came from. $2 super chat for Carnivore King, the face super duper chat. Yep. So just all kinds of tech issues this morning, but I'm getting there. Okay. It's all going to work out. And now we'll be good. So thank you guys for calling me out. I did not hear the music, but I pinpointed it. And real professional over here. Can you tell I do all this myself? People are like, I get complaints like, oh, just a rich YouTuber. You shouldn't listen to this guy. He's just grifting. Listen, if I was getting my 7K checks from Israel, if I was killing it, don't you think I'd have a little help on this stream? Wouldn't have these issues. We're having these issues. We're having, I bet. Okay, let's do the call outs. Let's see who's in this place. I'll start over on Rumble. Aloha, Patriot. What's going on? Sheath777 holding it down over there with Maui Jimbo. Welcome, guys. Thanks for watching today. Over here on the tube, we got Golden Code, J-Dog, Tammy Anderson, Lisa Doxy, Candid, Just Jess, Carnivore King, DJ Fusion, Pat M, Donna, Kika, Threads, Beta Mongolia, what's going on? Jay Tyrus, Rafe, Jim Atkins, Francis Riley, Sherry Harder, Greg Slanton, Motley Cruel, Bobby Girl, Toe Cramp, Lisa Doxy, Jesus Saves, Gen X MAGA, Nick Majors, Daisy Trumpet, James Burke, MFN, Katie's here, and many others, guys. I apologize if I don't call you out. I can't do everybody. Just the ones who show up first, I'll get through. And so, if you want the shout out, show up a little earlier and, set that notification bell. Okay, hit the like, subscribe. We're about to jump in. Christina Abbott with the $7 super chat. Tammy Thompson with the $2 super chat. Thank you guys for your support. As always, I will be getting into the chat. You guys, please feel free. Blow up the chat with your discussion. I love it. I love to be a part of it. The community is a big deal here. Throw me your questions and comments. And if you do, please tag me so I can find it. Or if you want to support the channel, you can always send a super chat, and I will guarantee you it will be read and answered. Christina, I missed you too. It's good to see you. It really is. It's been a bit. I'm glad you're back. I hope all is well with you. Okay, make sure I didn't see any interesting, important questions to get through. But again, if you guys missed it, last night I got a special occasion, had Tom Luongo on. Had a lot of interviews this weekend, which I'm really excited about. So I was on with Rich twice, 2 videos with Rich. Then I posted the Mike Steger interview Saturday morning, which is a must listen. Mike was amazing. And then have the last night, the special chat with Tom. So really, really fun stuff, and blessed I was able to do it. Irrationally Based says the plates are not level behind you. Please fix before next time. Listen, I'm going to be working on the next time. I'm going to get the green screen back up. Okay. This is my normal office wall from back. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but the early people know this. The people who've been watching the last 3.5 years know this, but the newer peeps don't know this. My background was in marketing, and I worked with an entertainment company for a few years. We were the number one issuer of autographs in the world. I was a big part of helping them build up and become that. And I love pop culture. I do. I talk politics here because it's so important, but I also have a lot of fun. And so, yeah, sorry guys, listen, you can complain all you want, but you won't see me much anymore. I am going down, but yeah, just for those who know, this is, whoops. Yeah, that is off kilter. My bad. But that's Christopher Lloyd right there. That's signed by Bob Odenkirk. And this signed by Samwise right there. And got to hang out with some people signing stuff. And then the rest is just art. That's from the South Park special concert they threw. And then this is original art that we would put together and send out signed by the artist. So, yep. Thanks, guys. I love my background, too. I love my wall. But the problem is when I switch to this, now it's still there because OBS sucks when it comes to if you're not using a green screen. But so you're going to have to stare at it while I'll just make myself smaller while I go through this. But listen, before we get into everything else, guys, I do want to remind everybody that this is the 2-year anniversary of Trump being shot. And so we should all just thank God that he was saved that day. But, just in case you forgot, it's worth remembering.
If you want to really see something that's sad, take a look at what happened. Oh.
Fight, Daddy. My love, you must fight.
Fight. I love you, Dad. I'm proud of you, son.
Fight.
Fight, Dad, fight.
Get up, Donnie. Fight.
You've got work to do, son. Fight.
Fight. I love you, Daddy.
Get up, Dad. Fight.
Fight. You must fight, my love.
Fight.
I love you, son.
Fight.
I love you, Donald. Fight. Fight.
Fight. Fight. Fight.
Sick. Still one of the scariest and then most epic moments of my life watching this. The way he came back up after thinking maybe we lost Trump. That was a wild, wild day, guys. But man, this just, you guys wonder if you ever forget who it is that is leading our country right now and why he's worth, giving our trust to, and it's this spirit right here that is just unbelievable and so epic and so resilient. So fight 2 years ago today in Butler, assassin opened fire on Donald J. Trump. By the grace of God's life was spared as he rose to his feet, blood on his face, fist raised high. That moment became an enduring symbol of resilience, courage, unbreakable determination for an entire nation. This is from the White House. The painting they put up there, unbelievable stuff. And then Trump gave us a little reflection on that day today.
After that, I got lucky. God was watching. There's one, Ainsley, God was watching because, my son Don and Eric, both of them, they know a lot about guns. They hunt. They like to hunt. And they said from that distance, with that gun, that particular gun, there's almost no chance of missing. They considered it something maybe easier than a 2-foot putt, to put it in golf terms. They said that's from that distance with that gun, it's like, Dad, it's like sinking a 2-foot putt, which is hard for those non-golfers. A 2-foot putt is almost automatic. I wouldn't say automatic for some people. It's not, but it's almost automatic. And so, God was with me. I turned my head to show a chart, and a chart that I never show on the right-hand side, but this time I did, and a chart that I don't even use that much. I use it probably 1 in 10 times at the rallies. But it's always on my left, and this time it was on my right. I looked to the right. If I looked to the left, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So many amazing things. And the chart is always at the end of the speech. And I just put it at the beginning because it was appropriate. You know, sometimes I'll start out and I won't be reading a lot of things because it makes it much more interesting. I think that's why people like it. But I just said I'm going to put it up there. It just felt good.
Yeah.
It felt right. You know, I speak the way I feel. And it felt right. And the chart, I said, let's talk about the chart. And I look over to the right as it's coming down. And I said, wow, what was that?
Wow.
I said, it's either the biggest, most violent mosquito in history or I just got shot. It was one of the two things because I touched my ear. There was blood all over my ear. As soon as I touched it, this wasn't like a slow bleed. I touched it. You saw, I mean, the picture's a very famous one. And I'm going down. And I said to myself, and sort of, I guess it's much as you can joke about something like this, but
well,
I
Mr.
said
President,
that's either the most violent mosquito in history.
Unbelievable. I mean, so today, guys, thank God, take a moment, just, give thanks that we were spared the end of what we're getting now. It never would have happened, even if, well, what would have happened is the Republicans would have installed Nikki Haley, and you can all guess how that would be going right now. So that's what they wanted. That's what they would have done. It would have been Nikki Haley versus Kamala Harris, and we would not be winning. So thank God for what happened 2 years ago, protecting our president. Okay, speaking of assassinations, though. Oh, we got to talk about Lindsey Graham. So I did a members live yesterday, a quick emergency live with initial thoughts. It's kind of scrambled, but I had to try to get together what I could on this, what happened with Graham. But the timing of this is just absolutely insane, considering especially, the 2 years from Trump's assassination, so on and so forth. And, we got to talk through this because Graham is a polarizing figure, but there's a lot going on here. So 2 nights ago, early in the morning on Sunday, Lindsey Graham died, and it was very sudden. Shocked the world, honestly. This is one of the most important senators, whether you like him or not. He was a high-ranking senior and, courted a lot of controversy. His personal life is, let's just say, torrid and controversial. And he's an old-school rhino neocon. However, he had proved very important to the MAGA agenda and to what Trump was trying to accomplish. And so Trump, upon getting the call, writes that, in honor of the remarkable life and achievements of Senator Lindsey Graham, a dear friend of mine, a truly great man who achieved so much for our country and South Carolina, I'm ordering all American flags throughout the U.S. lowered to half-mast until Saturday evening at 6. God bless you, Lindsey. Lindsey went to Ukraine and was looking at their drone factory, and then coming back, just died out of nowhere. And apparently it was at his house, but he'd barely been back. The weird thing is that he had come across as very healthy before this. Now, I do need to state, is it possible it was natural causes? Yes, we have to say that. His father had heart issues. He outlived his father. Lindsey obviously had, he wasn't healthy. You could tell by his face, even though he seemed strong. But we do have to account for that. However, the most suspicious aspect of this is the timing. See, last week we ramped things up considerably in Iran. We have reports that Trump, Iran, and was trying to assassinate Trump last week. We had the weird switcheroo with the Air Force One. Trump himself gave directions. What happens if I die? There's very interesting things going on, and it's pretty clear that with the escalation of Iran and Trump being at NATO and Turkey, there's a lot going on with City of London, the globalists, and their panic. And we know that, the Iran's a proxy of the globalists. So, put two and two together. It makes it very hard to think this was accidental or organic. I'm open to it, but we have to talk it through and we have to consider all angles. That's just where we're at now. But as Matt Forney writes, I'm not going to go full conspiracy yet, but this was 2 days ago. Graham looks pretty spry. And 2 days ago, this was Lindsey Graham speaking.
We've reached agreement with the White House on a version of the Russian sanctions bill.
He sure seems strong.
That they will support. It means it's going to become law. So when I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package that would give.
So there's no weakness in his voice. He seems fine. Again, we just have to take in all the facts here, and eventually we'll get a narrative. But what's interesting is, when I first heard that Lindsey died, one of my thoughts was that he was maybe it was a white hat operation, a la what speculated happened to John McCain. The difference is that when Trump loses somebody that he doesn't like or who is against the agenda, who was a deep state asset, Trump usually makes it known that he doesn't care too much that the person died. This was very obvious when Robert Mueller died, but also with Senator McCain. There's always a little humor or absolute just going after a person even in their death. Trump always makes it known when he doesn't like somebody. With Lindsey, he's been very, very sympathetic and almost, you could say, in pain over it. But here's Trump talking about it yesterday.
Mr. President, I'm really sorry for our country's loss. I know you lost one of your closest friends and an ally in the Senate. How are you feeling?
Well, I don't feel great. He was a great guy, and he was a friend. He would call me all the time. He would just I'd say, "Stop calling me, Lindsey." It was amazing. He just didn't stop, and he was a worker. He was a total workaholic politician. Now, some people don't call that work. Some people call that a lot of talking. But everybody loved him. He was good on the other side. If I had Democrat problems, he could solve them. He was a man of all different abilities, actually, and he was a nice man. He was a great guy. He loved playing golf, loved being outside. He'd play golf with people, and you just liked him. It wasn't that he was a great striker of the ball. He wasn't exactly a perfect. He wasn't Jack Nicklaus. He was not Tiger, but he loved it, and he had fun. He was a man who had a lot of fun.
You can hear the strain in Trump's voice. This one hit him hard, and again, it just makes me think that whether this happened or not, we're going to learn a lot from this, and this is a blow. This is a blow. One of the reasons is because Graham, being a senior, he's head of the budget committee, or was. He was one of the most senior. He was, out of all the MAGA senators we could actually depend on for their vote, senators who actually would push Trump's agenda, he was the most senior. And that matters in the Senate. Whoever replaces him will not be able to fully replace the power Lindsey Graham held. And in one of the areas that's most important is for the SAVE Act, which, again, this is why the timing is so suspect. It sounds like they were getting closer on that.
President Trump, thank you for joining us, and my condolences to you.
Well, thank you. He's a tough one to lose. He was great. He was unique in every way, actually.
He was, Mr. President, and I know that we are all just absorbing this news. We are all in shock. Can you tell us, Mr. President, how you received this news and your immediate gut reaction when you heard it?
So what makes it even stranger is that I got a call last night sometime at, the early evening, maybe in the 7s, and he called and he said, we're all set for the Save America Act. He was pushing the Save America Act like crazy. He got back, said he just landed from Ukraine. I said, that's a long trip to make. He said, he sounded a little tired, but perfect, but a little bit tired. Had a right to be. And he was a worker. He was really a worker. But
we're all set for the Save America Act. See, something was happening, and this is why the timing for me I cannot ignore it, regardless of whether it happened organically or not. I mean, heart attacks can show up out of nowhere, but we also know the CIA has technology where they can force a heart attack from afar. So we don't know, and I'll just put it that way. I'm going to be following Trump's lead on this one. But regardless, we cannot deny that, like him or not, neocon or not, he was important for what we want done. And here's some of the proof of it. I mean, right here, voting with Trump, he was 90 to 95% a guaranteed vote. You understand? That is hard in the Senate. The Senate is the House of Lords in America. They are where most of Trump's agenda goes to die. This was not happening with Lindsey. Most of these votes where he differed with Trump were for things like funding Ukraine, because he was a neocon. I'm not pretending he wasn't. I'm not pretending he's some great guy. But it's pretty clear that over the years, Trump had drawn him in and pulled him away from the establishment enough so that Lindsey would fight. Lindsey would fight for Trump's agenda. He's the reason Kavanaugh got through. And so, like him or not, there's a lot of things that Lindsey did that was important for what we want done. One of these, as reported by Catherine Herridge, is that Lindsey Graham was the one leading the investigations revealing on FBI on Comey. It was Lindsey Graham who exposed the discredited sources behind the 2017 Russia collusion probes, including Democrat-funded Steele dossier. It says Graham was relentless about the double standard in the Hillary Clinton email probe. So again, like him or not, he was important. And this is a major blow. We have stories coming out from all kinds of people with their interactions with him that might surprise you, like Robbie Starbuck here, when he was criticizing Lindsey Graham getting removed from the ballot in 22, but Lindsey Graham fought and gave him the money for the lawsuit to get back on the ballot. This is just not the kind of things you usually hear about. And I ultimately think that Lindsey Graham, his attitude was this, whether, he was establishment at one point or not, this is what he came down to.
If you don't like me working with President Trump to make the world a better place, I don't give a shit.
Dropping it on CNN. So again, I wasn't the biggest fan of Lindsey Graham as a person, but I've told you guys many, many times why Trump would fight to keep Graham in the Senate. This makes even more sense the more you look into it. Say this year, in South Carolina, there was a major effort by the America First grifters to get another senator to replace Lindsey Graham. This guy, Mark Lynch, truly America First. He's truly going to do it. We need to defeat Lindsey Graham, whereas Trump threw his endorsement behind Lindsey, making a lot of people confused. But when you consider his over 90% voting with Trump, when you consider the fact he was leading investigations, exonerating Trump, fighting for Trump's agenda, and his seniority on the budget committee, and he was key in getting the one big beautiful bill passed. This is a setback. And whether it's the deep state who was behind it or not, it hurts. And I got to say, when we watch what Trump's response is, that's going to tell us if this is part of the escalation. And that's something that's going to play out over the next few days. But with Iran escalating, that is a major setback to them. With the midterms less than 4 months away now, and all this communist uprising and the fight back against communism and the messaging, the panic going on in the Democratic Party, they are losing, and it is ramping up. Is it possible that as they're losing, we're going to see some people, some casualties? Absolutely, you can expect that. So again, I can't tell you one way or the other which way it went, but I can tell you that we need to consider and be open to all possibilities. A couple interesting things about Graham is this, which was kind of shocking to me. In 31 years, you would think any establishment senator, House rep would, be like Nancy Pelosi or Ro Khanna and be worth hundreds of millions by now. Lindsey Graham died worth around $2 million. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So, again, we can look at the private life and not like it, and this is why, this is, the criticism he did deserve. As Colonel Watkins says here, he wasn't a patriot. One of those pictures of him in APR legally, this is from his military days. He extorted a 3-star general to publish orders so Graham could show up in uniform instead of as a senator. Commanding officer refused to publish those orders, so the 3-starred someone without any authority published orders. They were illegal. Graham was told 3 different times it was illegal for him to travel on active duty. He didn't give a shit about pressure he put on the 3 or the commander who refused to cave. How do I know this? I was the commander. There's plenty of people who hate Lindsey Graham. And again, not the best guy personally, but he was important for what we're doing right now. In times of war, you don't get to choose your allies. You fight with those who will fight with you. As Scott McMahon posts here, this is the other kind of stuff that adds some shade to all of this. Ivan Ranklin knew about Lindsey Graham's hospitalization before it was public. At around 10:35 last night, he posted, "Hey, Lindsey, are you trying to visit Mitch?" At that time, Graham was in the same GW hospital, George Washington Hospital, as Mitch McConnell. The exact time of death was not public. His death was announced by his staff at 1 a.m. First thing, Ivan wrote about the process to replace the fallen senator, then made a thinly veiled threat at Ted Cruz. Ivan Ranklin's the same guy who said that it'd be better if Trump died in early 2024 and then Trump was shot. Ivan Ranklin is a grifter in the Mike Flynn sphere of things. And again, this is the kind of stuff that just makes you say, this man cannot be trusted. And definitely who cannot be trusted is Alexander Dugin, who Laura Loomer was quick to point out some of the receipts on Dugin, where he wrote, "Better to kill this guy. He is a problem for Trump. World will be better without him." With Glenn Greenwald, part of the Dugin network, sharing Lindsey Graham, one of his speeches on the Senate floor. On the stuff I don't like, the warrantless surveillance, neocon stuff. We didn't like that about Lindsey, of course not. But again, he would always fall in line, and that's why he was important. And Dugin, being one of the main people we know, is behind a lot of these influencers, is parroting globalist narratives, is working with that City of London way of producing psyops to throw the people off and hurt the Trump agenda. We know that this guy is bad news, and him calling this out and then him going down. But I will say this is not helpful either, where Laura Loomer is falling into the trap of, is it Russia? That's the psyop right now. They want it to be about Russia. He went to Ukraine. They want it to be about Russia, but it doesn't make sense. For those of us who've been following this very closely, who know that the real enemy is the globalist Davos crowd, City of London system, it makes, and that is who Putin is fighting against as well. It would make no sense for Russia. Russia would have no incentive to take out Lindsey Graham, who was a true ally of what Trump was doing. So again, pay attention, folks. This is ramping up. Whatever happens, one way or the other, it's however this plays out, there's a lot of speculation going on, and I will do my best to continue as we get more details to report what's really going on. But this is one of those times we're going to have to watch Trump very carefully, because he will be the one who gives us signal. And if we start seeing an escalation in some other areas, maybe Senate arrests, maybe some crackdowns on some stuff globally, especially affecting Europe, that could be a tell. But I'm going to be watching Trump and what he's saying. For now, what he's doing is he's using Lindsey, this death. He's commemorating it, which tells us that he did matter to Trump and to the MAGA push, what we're trying to do here in America. But he's also using it to try to get the Clarity Act pushed through quickly and the Save America Act. So that pressure ramping up, I don't know. What will it do? We haven't seen anywhere near what the fallout of this is going to be yet. It's only been a day. But I got to tell you, this is one of the biggest hits we've taken to the MAGA agenda yet. Doesn't mean we're losing. Doesn't mean anything's going to change too much, but it does slow us down. We just lost the number one most important senior senator. Not the best senator, not the most MAGA senator, but senior and powerful. He was the most powerful senator on the MAGA side. And that, friends, hurts. So far, Trump's nominated his sister to replace him, and then the primary will be there's going to have to be a primary for the election since Graham was running again in the fall. That person will most assuredly get through. It'll be a strong MAGA candidate, I'm sure. But again, we just lost a lot of power in the Senate, which is the place we have the least power already. So anyways, we'll be following this closely as it goes. And hopefully we can, have more details on how he actually was taken out, whether it was natural or sinister. That's what we'll find out. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe. I got so much more to get to. We're going to get it right into Iran after this, speaking of timing on everything. But first, I do want to make sure I'm catching anybody who tagged me, any questions, comments. Mad Cloud says, I think blaming Russia is a psyop. I completely agree with you on that. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. Pete says, who is our best MAGA senator with seniority after Graham? You're not going to like the answer, but it's Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, even though he's slimy, even though he's not necessarily a good person, he's a pretty reliable MAGA vote for now. And now he is the most senior one we have. So, but the problem with Ted Cruz is he is not listened to, where Lindsey Graham was able to sway people who, like, say, a Collins or a Murkowski. Graham had a way of reaching to them and getting them to move over on certain votes. Ted Cruz is not listened to at all, except for the most hardcore conservative types. But he is now the most senior MAGA senator we have. So, again, the Senate is not our best spot. It is our weakest area when it comes to MAGA. The House is pretty strong, but the Senate is not. And so losing Graham hurts more than I like to admit, because I'm not a fan of his. Let's see. They're not going to appoint Nikki Haley, because Trump won't allow it. See, it's too important for Trump. This seat is too important for Trump to allow that to happen. He will put all the pressure on McMaster. And also Haley would not be voted in. So even if they appoint Haley, she'll only have a few months. DJ says it would have been Biden versus Haley. Shooting was before Harris installed. Biden could have hid in the basement. Well, he couldn't have, because he already had the debate. And because Biden already had the debate, they would have still pushed to remove him. Remember, they wanted Harris more than Biden, because if you think Joe Biden is controlled and a stooge for the globalists, for the deep state, Harris is much, much worse. Much, much worse. Biden at least was arrogant enough when he was cognitive, and his wife was arrogant enough to fight back sometimes to do things their way. Kamala Harris, she will do anything they ask her to do, because all she cares about is attention and power. Kamala Harris is an empty shell of a person. Joe Biden, at least when he was on a good day, he still had opinions. So, Oki says the Dems have the most to gain, not natural or not. They do. Yeah, they do. I know Nancy Mace is asking for it too. That would also be terrible. You cannot trust Nancy Mace at all. Okay. Did Lindsey even exist? All right, let's move on, as we got a lot to get to today. So can't stay too long on one point. Again, guys, if you have questions, hit that like, hit that subscribe. But if you have questions or comments, tag me so I can see it when I take a break to get into the community. Or again, if you want to support the channel, super chats are guaranteed to be read and answered. And then also, if you like the community, if you like what you're doing in here, hanging out with everybody, you can join the Discord by going into Patreon, clicking that link in the description, get a free month, try it out, join the Discord, check out the members lives. Had a members live yesterday. In the members live, we went to, we did talk about Lindsey Graham. So, in a little more detail, and, you get my, initial thoughts on everything, but plenty of other members lives where I deep dive stuff, but that just shows you, with members lives weekends, you never know what's going to happen. So, but jump on in, check out the extra content, see if you like it, and you can decide if you want to keep being a part of supporting this channel. I am viewer supported, and so I appreciate it. Fatima says the enemy still has a vote. Yes, they do, and that's why you just never know. And one of the reasons I do lean towards foul play with Lindsey Graham is because of what's going on in Iran right now. So, going back to last week, the situation in Iran has escalated significantly, and it is continuing. Trump is actually staying true to his word, where he's not looking for a deal this time. He's looking to end this. And this morning, he posted this: the Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. This is always the big thing. All the critics, all the people who are trying to convince you Trump is feckless and we're losing this war, they always make it about the Strait of Hormuz, despite the obvious evidence pointing to the opposite, that we're doing just fine. Oil is not spiking out of control. So the evidence is there, but who cares about evidence? What matters to them is narrative. But Trump is breaking that. He says, we are reinstating the Iranian blockade, blocking them from selling oil. So named because it's only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. USA will be from this point forward known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. That's interesting. And that makes me think this was part of Trump's endgame all along, for leverage over Iran to finally fully take over the Strait of Hormuz, just like we have the Panama Canal and we have the agreement for the strait over in Malaysia, which those are the three major straits in the entire world. And now we have vested interest and control in all three of them. That's very interesting, isn't it? But as such, and as a matter of fairness, we will also be reimbursed at 20% of all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job, providing safety and security to a very volatile section of the world. Process information will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This is a huge shot to the deep state globalists. Massive smack to City of London, because City of London before controlled the shipping in this area, and Iran was their little attack dog whenever they needed to keep it that way. Now, what has Trump done? Cleared them out. He gave them a chance. He gave them an off-ramp. You guys stop attacking and let stuff be free through there and we'll all be cool. But they couldn't help themselves. Nope, we're not giving it up, because City of London's gotten over $2 trillion from this strait over the last 25, 30 years. They're not giving up that money easy. So Trump is going to force them into submission. And now what he's done is we're putting our people there, holding them there, and he's charging them. And we're going to be the ones profiting off this. This is incredible stuff. And again, this is where the difference in soft power is versus hard power. Soft power is what they've had. They were controlling us from within, subverting us, installing their people to run things, trying to bureaucratize us to death with regulations over and over again, take away our freedoms, make money off of us, use NATO to control our military for their purposes. All of that has been done over the many years. However, the problem is when because of our Constitution still holding up, when Trump gets in, he's able to take full control back of our military, which means we have the hard power. What are you going to do about it? Because soft power is only good insofar as someone doesn't have hard power that's better, and they're willing to use it. And Trump has been giving them off-ramp after off-ramp, and they refuse to take it. So it's time to institute the hard power. And this is a smack. F you guys. We're taking over. We're done. Here's Trump on the latest with Iran. And just remember, when you listen to this, whenever he's talking to Iran, he's also talking about, the IRGC, they're shadow banked by UK, City of London. This has been a proxy state. So when he's talking about Iran, this is also him basically saying the same thing to Davos deep state. But listen to this.
But we had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the strait. And we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. We guarded the strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, they wouldn't. It's amazing. We guarded it for nothing. And now we're going to guard it, and we're going to get paid for guarding it, a lot of money. But we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger. But we're really not putting people, we're really saving people. Remember this, they killed 52,000 protesters so far. As of this moment, the number is 52,000. So who's going to protest? And a lot of people are surprised about the protesting, that they haven't. But nobody's going to protest when they get shot. They have AK-47s, they have machine guns aimed at people's heads. If you move 1 foot further, you get shot, and then they'll shoot 10 of them, and everybody flees. Who's not going to flee? They don't have guns. Right. So they're a bad group of people. Let me just tell you that. I don't say that often, and I have to live with that statement. They're a bad group of people. They've been this way for a long time, and right now they're getting their ass kicked. And in the top form.
I love Trump so much. Here's a little more on what just broke down.
So, Mr. President, Lindsey Graham was definitely on your side when it comes to Iran and the threat, them not having a nuclear weapon. It looks like they're back at their business trying to take over the strait. What's your response?
Well, we're taking over the strait. They have nothing. They've got nothing. So something that nobody knows, yesterday they had an 11-hour meeting. Everything's 11 hours with these guys. You can't settle a one sentence in 1 hour, in 1 minute. It should be 1 minute. And everything was agreed to yesterday. And they leave the room, and they call back, and they say, we had to make a couple of changes. I said, changes? They got to make changes? We're not going to make changes. Always changes. They just, they're professional negotiators. That's all they are. I don't even call them good at it. They haven't gotten anything. They got nothing from me. But if you look, for 47 years, they've been tapping people along, presidents. Every president got tapped along, didn't do anything, and they became more and more powerful. This should have been done 47 years ago. Shouldn't have been allowed to start. But Clinton let him go, and Bush let him go. Everybody let him go, and Obama was the worst of all because Obama actually went to their side. Obama, because he's well, let's not say. Let's not say. Let's leave that for another time.
Oh, did you just hear that? Let me back that up just a second there. It said Obama went to their side. Did you hear that?
They became more and more powerful. This should have been done 47 years ago. Shouldn't have been allowed to start. But Clinton let him go, and Bush let him go. Everybody let him go, and Obama was the worst of all because Obama actually went to their side. Wow. Obama, because he's well, let's not say. Let's not say. Let's leave that for another time. He was terrible, and he allowed them. He allowed Iran to, but he gave them $1.7 billion in cash, in green cash, put in satchels in an airplane and brought to Iran. $1.7 billion. Do you know what that is? Did you ever see $1 million in cash? This is $1.7 billion. It took up an entire Boeing 757, and they flew it to Tehran, and they gave it to people that were waiting at a plane. Can you imagine these people? They never saw money, and now all of a sudden they've got $1.7 billion in cash, and he gave them hundreds of billions of dollars in cash and everything else. And he went to their side, and because of that, they became much more powerful because of Obama and Biden, who was the vice president, but he probably had nothing to say because he was not such a stupid person. But then Biden, when Biden came in, and then I held him down, I stopped him, and the JCPOA, I stopped it, and stopped it really, really powerfully. I ended that agreement was the worst. Somebody said C. Maybe it's the C. It ends with the C. That agreement is the worst agreement that has been signed by this country. That's the top 5 bad agreements. And that basically gave them everything. And they built and built and built. And they were minutes away from a nuclear weapon. Mm-hmm. Had I not terminated the agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, it's called, they would have had a weapon then. Had I not killed Khomeini, who was a brilliant but mad general. He was a crazy Soleimani. I killed Soleimani. Soleimani was like one of the really, really bad.
Interesting stuff. A lot of that was repeated, but there's a reason Trump always repeats himself. By the way, it's so that it gets hammered into you. It's a tactic. It's not, it's not just him being annoying or anything. He's always repeating so that you don't forget. Regardless, what he said about Obama is fascinating there, wasn't it? Obama was well, we'll get to that another time. He said he joined the side. That's so very interesting insights and to what Trump's fighting here in Iran. This is obviously, again, you guys know this because you're smart. We pay attention, but for those who are new checking in, this was not Trump's shooting from the hip. This is a major operation and the key to unlocking a lot of what's going on in the deep state. This is ramping up, though. As I've said, here's CENTCOM with the latest updates. They completed, this was from the other day, complete a third round of strikes this week, hit 140 Iranian military targets. That's after the initial 150, because there was 80, then 90, and now we're at, it was 170 plus this, so 310. We're at 310 targets struck. There's 500 missiles ready to go for another one, which we just heard. But they hit, targets include Iranian missile and drone sites, naval capabilities, ammunition storage facilities, communication networks, and coastal surveillance locations. They're completely wiping out every chance they have to make messes in the Hormuz Strait anymore. They're completely wiping out their ability to do so. This is wild. This is the last thing they had. I mean, we took out their Navy. We took out their Air Force. Who cares about their ground troops? They're not invading anybody, especially not us. So what's left? All their missiles, their ability to hurt people nearby them, to keep striking stuff on the strait, threaten ships. We're taking all that away. So three nights of strikes, CENTCOM struck more than 300 targets. Since early May, U.S. forces have facilitated successful transit of more than 800 commercial vessels and 400 million barrels of crude oil through the strait. It completely obliterates the whole psyop that the strait is taken over by them. Here, we did start dropping bunker busters too. And as Buzz Patterson says, we dropped bunker busters. Buzz, by the way, he carried the nuclear football for Clinton. He's a friend of the show. I interviewed him over a year ago and would love to have him back. I should reach out to him, but as he writes, dropped bunker busters on Iran's 4 tactical fighter base in Desful, western Iran. Strikes reportedly carried out focusing on underground missile storage facility. The super duper secret missiles that Scott Ritter and Douglas McGregor talk about. Oh, they're waiting to use them. Well, they're going to be waiting a lot longer as we keep taking them out. He says, doesn't look like we're slowing down at all. This could be the strikes to finally sink the Islamo-fascist regime. Keep the pedal down. Here's a glimpse of what this means, these bunker busters. That is, I mean, my God, this is no joke. That's incredible stuff we're unleashing. Here's more on the strikes.
U.S. Central Command just announced they began a third round of strikes against Iran in response to Iranian forces attacking a Cyprus-flagged container ship in the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM says the U.S. is degrading Iran's ability to attack ships, and the strikes are being carried out at the direction of the commander-in-chief. U.S.
Here's the latest from yesterday. U.S. CENTCOM has now completed another, so both of these are over the weekend, back-to-back days. Played a new wave of offensive strikes against Iran. July 12th, hitting dozens of targets in multiple locations. CENTCOM forces struck Iranian military air defense systems, coastal radar, missile and drone capabilities, small boats. More on the Strait of Hormuz. So you guys, you see it's every day right now. It's just over and over again. We just took out a submarine. Look at this. This is unbelievable stuff we're seeing. It's just crazy. What I feel like is very interesting as well is how they keep showing us the actual strikes. This is to tell us that it's really happening. This is not psyops. Like, Trump administration is being transparent with us so we know exactly what's happening. This is not normal. Okay, we don't know what we could trust in the old days. Here, it's important because the American people didn't want war. We didn't want another war. We didn't want our troops on the ground. We didn't want to get stuck. But again, I'm sorry, Americans love winning more than anything else. And if Trump is able to show us that the American military is unleashed and kicking ass and having no issues in doing this, the American people are going to be with it. It's just a fact. Emotions overcome logic. And with Trump, the way he's played this out and the way he set up Iran to dig themselves a hole and make it clear they're an enemy that does not want to play ball, that is given everything and still rejects peace, he's proving that we can not only do this and do this well, but there's a reason for it. And again, yes, when I say Iran, I mean all the factors surrounding Iran. It's not just the country itself. It's the IRGC that's been doing this, with the IRGC funded by UK. And this next part's wild, but this is ramping up everywhere. If you have any doubt of whether or not the deep state globalists are working with Iran, listen to this.
Well, New York City Mayor's office is under fire after Zoran Mamdani's International Affairs Commissioner reportedly made plans to meet with Iran's UN ambassador earlier this week. The timing could not have been worse. And the New York Post reporting this, the scheduled meeting would have unfolded after Iranian troops fired missiles at two commercial ships traversing the Strait of Hormuz. An action Monday in direct defiance of an interim peace agreement between the U.S. and Iran. Mayor Mamdani was asked about this at a news conference today. Watch.
That meeting did not take place. It will not take place. And I did not know about it until there was a press inquiry regarding it. And when it comes to the work of our commissioner and our international affairs office, it's to ensure that as we are a city of the world, that we are also there to meet with leaders from across the world. The focus is always on our city and our relationship. The commissioner recognizes that this was made an error, and we're working on a new process in terms of new meeting requests.
A new process? What about competence?
What about competence? Can you feel the panic, folks? Planning to meet with Iran's ambassador? The commies in New York? Are you kidding me? This is crazy. This is undercutting them. This is very much like, many may have forgotten by now, but when Tucker Carlson was busted talking to the Iranians in early March. And that's when the fallout began for Tucker. And why are they panicking? Why is all this ramping up from their angle? Well, look at this. The Iranians have now put former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, remember this crazy guy? He's on house arrest because he had secret contacts with Israeli intelligence. Is it possible that this operation has been going on to free Iran, to undo Iran for quite a while? Very interesting. They're going after their own now over there. And then we get this. The UK has finally designated the IRGC as a terrorist organization. This is something they've been holding out for doing for decades. Whereas many other countries had them designated. Why would City of London wait so long? Ask yourself that. And why would they do it now? Right after Trump escalates in Iran? Is this signal? Is this City of London waving the white flag on Iran, saying we can't help them anymore? And now they're running into CYA, cover your ass mode. Holy smokes, folks, this is big. You're not going to hear about this many places. Tusi reported it. But this is a big deal. A big deal. Pretty crazy. So, and it's not just UK, it's not just us, it's Saudi Arabia starting to ramp up, clean up their backyard. This is where Trump got everybody coordinated, got all the Middle Eastern states working together. Saudi Arabia now going after the Houthis. Saudi Arabia bombed Houthi-controlled Sana'a International Airport in an apparent attempt to prevent Iranian aircraft from landing. This, along with other reports this weekend of the UAE, Bahrain striking Iran. They're all on our side. This is not America versus the Middle East anymore. This is America and the Middle East taking out the globalist systems in their countries, in their area. This is interesting. Houthis have vowed to retaliate. This could include strikes on Saudi infrastructure, including oil facilities. Yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. I'm not holding my breath. Saudi Arabia versus the Houthis. I think we all know who's going to win that one. But Saudi has been famously reluctant to engage in stuff like this in the past. The fact that they're starting to ramp it up, pretty interesting. While all this is going on, it keeps going, folks. The escalation is real. Check this out. Early this morning, it's reported, it's 4 a.m. this morning, Ukraine Prime Minister shock, resignation, and broader Zelensky cabinet reshuffle. Is it possible that's finally being cleaned up? Lindsey Graham dies, and all of a sudden, Ukraine reshuffling the deck, Prime Minister. That's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff happening. Is Trump finally clamping down, saying this is done, we're done? We'll see. Or was somebody getting smart, trying to get Ukraine out of it, and then it's pushed out by the globalists to keep them in because they can't let Ukraine go down. They can't. They need to keep this Ukraine-Russia thing going, especially because they're losing Iran. And then we get this from Marco Rubio today. Another strike against the globalists. International Criminal Court seeks to become unaccountable arbiter of new global law. That's the City of London way. Empowered to prosecute and arrest our citizens at will and existentially threaten American sovereignty, we will teach the ICC the full meaning of American resolve. Whoa. Here's Marco.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or its president. And you shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes and compacts and the force of so-called international law. When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country, American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland, prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
Fade to black. Boom. Right there. Teach them the full meaning of American resolve. And you guys are blackpilling? Obviously not you guys, not my audience. You guys are too smart for that. But who's blackpilling? We're freaking taking down the globalists, and this is as obvious as it gets. I want everybody who's ever come to me and said, Trump's one of them, he's in on it. Show them this. We just smacked down the international court, said international law means nothing to us. We're Americans. Screw you. Do you think this is, the timing of this is coincidental that he would release this after the weekend of Lindsey Graham's death, of escalation in Iran, of UK labeling IRGC as a terrorist nation or a terrorist entity? You think this is coincidental? I got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you there, bud. I got to tell you, man, this is not coincidence, the timing on this. We are throwing down the globalists. It's time. They don't get to speak into our nation. They don't get to have control over our citizens. Screw the globalists. Screw City of London. That's what Marco just said. And you're blackpilling? Guys, they are terrified. Their actions tell us that. Their actions tell us they're panicking. And our administration tells us they see it. And it's time to ramp things up. It's time to double down the pressure. We're not just going after Iran anymore. We're not just trying to get peace in Ukraine anymore. We're not just reshaping the global economic system anymore, breaking apart your conglomerate, your economic system that has been screwing over Americans. No, we're tearing down everything. You guys think you can have jurisdiction over Americans? F you. That's what Marco just said. And this last part, I mean, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve. What do you think that means, guys? That is, we have the hard power and you don't. You want to test it? Good luck. Strait of Hormuz, you guys want to take that over? Good luck. Whatever it is you guys are trying to do to us, good luck. That's what this means. This is epic. And again, we are headed in a very, very good direction. It is clearly ramping up. The only question is, how fast does this all get cleaned up and how much do we accomplish in the next few months before the midterms? But I got to tell you, I'm very excited and I'm very emboldened and encouraged by what I've seen the last week. we're definitely turning a corner here in very good ways. All right, guys, hit that like, that subscribe. Let me get into the chat here for a minute because I got a lot more to get to. But I did see some super chats come in, some questions come in, so I want to address those before we move on. Let's see here. I had a super chat from Jocelyn on Rumble. Says, Mom Donnie seems to think he's running a city-state. That's absolutely what he does think. He thinks New York, because they took it over, gives them more power somehow, but he's in for a very rude awakening on that one. Let's see here. We had a few super chats come in from Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. He says, Lindsey dead at 71, foul play. That's what we're asking, Kevin. And it's sure, the timing sure is suspect. He also asks, he says, Lindsey dead, natural nods of missile slinger, solid vote. I'd say good and bad news, 100%. And Motley Cruel with the $5 super chat says, said Saturday Lindsey was murdered by Deep State because he drafted an end to their last hope, which is the Save America Act. And Trump has not repeated the official cause. Yeah, we haven't heard that yet. That's why I said we have to watch Trump to see what comes out of this. Kevin with another $5 super chat. Lindsey said he was drafting the piggyback bill for the Save America Act. Exactly. He was trying to work it into something they had to pass. So Kevin, brother, you're so generous, man. I'm very grateful to you. Kevin also says, my best guess, Lindsey sidestep Thunder and gets smoked. I mean, all that. I completely agree. All of it. And then he writes, we love you, Marco. And Mr. Seven Wizard with the $2 super chat says the real war just went live with Rubio. 100%, guys. It is. It's getting interesting. That is 100% true. Let me see if I missed anybody else here real quick that tagged me on anything. I want to make sure I get into questions. Thank you guys for watching the trolls. We've been getting a lot of trolls today, which means we are on the mark. I love the trolls because guess what? Hey, to all the trolls here watching, I love how stupid you people are, because when you guys jump in my chat and you start blowing smoke and you start saying ridiculous nonsense that makes no sense, when you start pulling your grifts, all you're telling me is that you're scared. All you're telling me is that we are winning and you guys have nothing. And I love it. Please come on my chat so that I can get the encouragement of knowing I'm on the right track. And then we get to ban you, which is super fun as well. So I love every aspect of you guys coming on. It is the best. Thank you, trolls, for just making my life more fun. It is so much fun to blast you guys out of here and know that we're on the right track. And the audience thanks you too, because they get some good laughs out of it as well. Pete says, can we figure out how to support you outside YouTube? Pete, there is if you do want to support me outside YouTube, you can either go through my Patreon or I do have a list to my Venmo account on my channel description if you ever want to just donate directly. And thank you for asking. I am a viewer supported show, so any little bit is very appreciated. Thank you for that. You guys are the best. Thanks for the flow state, brother. Papa Tag says, I want to ban a troll. I tell you, when you're a member and you've been here long enough and earned my trust, I know you're on the right side of things. And you really do care about the show, and that's how you become a mod. Kevin, you're good, man. Thank you again, brother. You're awesome. Katie Cat with the 25 says, Kevin, I see your 20 and raise you 5. Thank you, Katie. You guys, man, you guys humble me and just bless me so much. Linva says, do I watch Salty Cracker? I do like Salty Cracker. I don't watch them enough. El Dunarino says there's not enough trolls. Well, I'll tell you the reason why is because I ban them. As soon as I see a troll, I ban it, because the reason why I have the best community on YouTube, it's not, it's because the people are amazing and you guys make it the best chat. But the other reason is we clean it up. We don't let the trolls stay. It does help me to let them stay. Trolls are good for engagement, and that helps your algorithm and it helps you grow faster. And that's why you see major channels allow their chat to be taken over and destroyed. I don't care about that. I will grow slow. I would rather do it the right way and build legitimate people who love this channel and get to actually be a part of the community without being shouted down. And so I'm always going to take out the trolls, because it's not good for the people to have the trolls nonstop in here. So you'll see them, they'll show up, they'll say their piece, and they'll let us know we're onto something, and then we get them out. And that's just better for the chat in general. Kevin with the $100 super chat says you can't be beat. You guys are, man, awesome. I'm just incredibly humbled by my viewers. And those of you who give, it's a super blessing. And the other thing is that, and then there's others who just watch and participate and have been a part of this for a long time. And so I really appreciate that. And you guys, mean a lot to me. The community means a lot to me. So Kevin, man, Katie, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys, so much. Papa says trolls are negative. No productive conversation comes from them. They're only meant to throw a channel off the equilibrium. That's exactly right. Yeah. And when trolls take over a chat, the real people don't write. Okay. The real people just get scared out because it's hard to, they'll try to take over and spam, and you lose you lose your chat, and so it just kills everything. MFN says free 5-minute timeouts for talking trash on the Niners. Uber gay team, how dare you? That is the most MAGA team. As Nick Bosa took it. So there's your 5-minute timeout, MFN. Enjoy it. I thought you wanted to lead by example, so I'm going to let you. New Life says, have I found a direct link between Houthis and City of London? I suspect that's the case. Don't know. City of London is you can trace the banking to most of these terrorist organizations through shadow banking that can be tied to City of London. Many of it is filtered through Iran. So Hezbollah, Hamas, that's filtered through Iran, IRGC, which is shadow banked by City of London. And then you got like the Muslim Brotherhood, which we can directly tie to City of London and MI6. So yes, Houthis are one of those. They are funded by Iran. So you can tie them there. Okay. Let's get on to the next segment here. As again, I have a lot to get to. And by the way, we got a grifter report today. I know there's 4% of people who watch who are mad about that, but the 96% love it. So we'll be doing the grifter report here at the end. But I got 2 other segments to get to before that, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. Do I just love the Niners or my hat? Dude, if anybody doubts I love the Niners, I watched every game of what season was it? 2006 season, I think it was 2005 season, when we went 2-14 under Dennis Erickson. I watched every single game. That's how much I love the Niners. I watch even when we're at our down. I can tell you everything about the Niners. I'm a huge football fan, and the Niners are the best. Okay, I grew up in NorCal when Montana and Young were winning us rings. What do you want from me? So. Okay, let's get into it. The 4 months left until the midterms, and the communists' rhetoric by Trump, Spencer Pratt, and the Republicans in general, MAGA, it's ramping up, and it's because as the commies keep taking over the Democrats, Trump is trying to bring attention to it as the real enemy. It's one thing to say we're fighting the Democrats. People think, well, they're Americans with different opinions. It's another to say communists. And we are continuing to double down on that. And as Trump does, it's working. And we're starting to see panic on the Democrats growing. It's getting worse. And we're starting to see the communists double down, which is actually just going to help. Trump blasted this out on Saturday. The radical left lunatics, often referred to as Democrats, have lost control of their party. You see the framing here, that even though they're losing control of their party, they were already radical left. He's saying the whole Democrats they're basically getting what they asked for. They're being led by loud and unattractive people who've totally lost their way. This is, again, Trump's perfect, beautiful framing as a marketer. It's amazing. But calling them unattractive, nobody, listen, I'm going to be very un-PC right here. But you're less likely to get elected if you're ugly. It's just a fact. We're shallow. All of us are shallow in some way, shape, or form. Doesn't mean we can't love ugly people. It just means that when they're on TV, we're less likely. We're going to have an emotional reaction to them. And so for Trump saying that, there's a reason for that. Trump is not a madman just spewing nonsense. He does this on purpose because this is a very negative connotation. They're not only crazy, they're also ugly. He says, hopefully they'll fight back and not let the sick communist ideology take over America. And that is the framing we're going with. Now, as Colonel Watkins shares this, chaos by design, in response to this, the intelligence community ensures U.S. elections are interesting. By intelligence community means the deep state. Because if you think it's just CIA, if you think it's just the people who've been doing crazy things here at home, no, you trace it back to MI6, Mossad, City of London, globalists, always. And they do really ramp things up in election years. You have Mitch's wife goes to China, Mitch hospitalized with no proof of life, except for AI pictures that they put out. President Trump publicly says he left behind instructions if assassinated. Lindsey Graham drops dead after visiting Kiev. Oh, yeah. And we still got 4 months to go, folks. What is going to unleash next? This is the kind of thing where you're just like, how is this all coincidental? How? I'll just tell you, I don't believe in coincidence. I don't. But also I'll say this, as a Christian, somebody who believes deeply in Jesus and the spiritual aspect of life, sometimes what looks like coincidence to us might not have an earthly reason, but it might have a spiritual one, because that is just as real. And so sometimes these things happen, like maybe Lindsey Graham's death. Maybe that was spiritual aspect. I don't know. I can't tell you. All I can say is there's no way all of this is coincidence. Now, what we're getting is a lot of exposure as this progresses, and this is the good aspect of them coming out. Batya is doing a great job. I love Batya. Sometimes she infuriates me a little bit, especially when it comes to Israel stuff. But in general, she's great, and she's calling it out. She's got a large following. Socialism by and for the rich, and there is this socialist. There is Ro Khanna right there, but this guy running in Maine, he is part of the DSA. He's a commie. And as she writes, she says, while Al-Sayed is campaigning on taxpayers funding healthcare because the system is so expensive and difficult to access for low-income Americans, his own wife won't take insurance. She's a doctor. You have to be able to fork over hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for the privilege of seeing her. And this is a person who's already wealthy from real estate holdings overseas. Guys, these people are the rich. They are the educated, the college. They are the protected class, the elites. They are the ones who want communism, using the poor as an excuse to implement their system to take over. But it always comes from the elites. And that's what we're seeing more as Batya continues to expose them. Spencer Pratt doing a wonderful job of this. As New York put out another terrifying day in socialist communist Momdanistan, Bryant Park. It shows this wonderful day. But thanks to the internet and X being set free, we now have the ability to counteract their psyops. As Spencer writes, communists use video from a privately run park with private security, paid for private vendors, and claim it a victory of socialists. I can't tell if they're really this dumb or they just think you are. I'll tell you, it's a mix. Some of them are that dumb, and all of them think we are. That's the mix right there. But this is the kind of thing, you cannot trust anything they put out there. All communists do is lie. It is literally their language is lies. And this is more proof of that. Speaking of New York, we have rents in New York under Mamdani, the affordability candidate, just hit all-time high. Manhattan, $5,300 a month, plus 8% year over year. Brooklyn, 8% higher. The housing affordability crisis at DEFCON 1. We need to push harder on every front to address our housing shortage. Good luck with the commies, but they're getting 18% raises. Yeah, that's what's happening. That's the Mamdani way. And Spencer writes, socialists promise heaven and give you hell every single time. Don't let communists run your city. This is, it sucks for those who implement it. These are Americans who stupidly let these people in. But the lesson sometimes has to be a hard one. If you don't do your learning, if you allow yourself to be co-opted by psyops, you make stupid choices. And then the only way to break out is to learn the hard way. The hope is, and what I believe is happening, is that this will spread in the news because New York's our largest city, and it will wake people up so we don't have to learn this lesson nationwide. And that's why they're doubling down now. The next thing they're trying to do is get it to lower the voting age to 16. As Pratt writes, communists need children to vote because you have to be mentally underdeveloped to buy the bullshit socialists try to sell you. They're like the student body president promising no homework and free soda in the drinking fountains. This is what Colorado is already pushing. See, Colorado was a purple state, and then the Obama faction completely took it over. And now the blue side of Colorado, which it's not the bluest state, but the blue there is very blue. And they're letting the commies take over, and this is what they're bringing. It used to be you had to be 21 to vote, and they lowered it to 18. Every time they lower it, we get more liberal and leftist because I'm sorry if you're young and you're watching this. I hope someday you're going to be successful and grow into great things. But if you're under 30 years old, for the most part, you're retarded. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. I know because we all were, no matter how smart we were in those years. There's just certain things that experience is the only way to learn. And knowledge without experience just leads to retardation. And that's what happens to young people, unfortunately. And now that I'm older, 42, be 43 this year, I understand that better than I ever have. And, we should be upping the voting age, not lowering it. But this is how communists get in trouble, get in power. And that's what they're working to do. And this is what City of London wants to bring here. This is Britain. It came out a few months ago. There was a big study done that proved that Britain had a lower per capita income than Mississippi. And that per capita income, that's supposed to be the great nation overseas, the great other, the leader of in the Eurozone. UK is supposed to be the one you look up to, and yet they're poorer than our poorest state. But that's what they want to bring here. This is what City of London wants to do here. This is why they're running communists. And they were close, guys. They were close. But look at this. This is what free healthcare gets you. Free healthcare, I should say. The NHS has a backlog of 6 million patients, spends more money settling maternity malpractice claims than providing maternity care. 1 in 10 Brits have taken to doing their own dental work, including tooth extractions. 1 in 10. That's third world country, folks. That is the technocracy, the communist Fabian ideal that City of London has brought to the Eurozone, has brought to the EU. That's what they wanted to do to us. And we stopped them. Trump stopped them. And, for them to get it to this point again will take a lot. It'll take a lot because we are pushing back and we're awake to it now. But never, ever forget that this isn't, on its surface, UK is not a communist country, but it really is. Because that's what they do. That's who they are. And that's what they're trying to bring here. But the good news is we're calling it out. And as a result, the Democrats are freaking out. James Carville has been one of the ones trying to sound the alarm. I cannot stand James Carville. He's a terrible human being. But he understands politics. He understands elections. And he understands what's good and bad for winning those elections. And he knows this is all terrible right now for the Democrats. As he's calling out now Bernie Sanders is the reason Donald Trump became president. And he had a whole rant on this. But this is panic from the architect. This would be, Carville's like the equivalent of Newt Gingrich on our side. Newt Gingrich, establishment, very establishment, and yet is a genius when it comes to elections and understanding how to win politically. If Newt was freaking out like this, I would be very scared for what's coming to the Republican Party. But here's what James Carville, where he's at, watching all the commies come into power for his party.
Order, right? But it's the Democrats' fault. It's the corporate Democrats. It's all because the Democrats listen to Al Gore or some shit like that. These people are so fucking stupid, I don't know what to say about it. So now we have this idea that these insurgent Democrats, and what is their solution? Is their solution to beat Republicans, to run against Republicans? No. Their solution is to beat Democrats. Like they're part of the problem. No, you are part of the problem because you're a fucking idiot. And you just believe that pablum nonsense that drifts around the left wing, I don't know, whatever sphere, blogosphere, atmosphere, thought sphere, or whatever sphere they got. But it's...
Somebody scared, folks? Somebody crashing out in real time? And you guys are worried about the midterms? I don't see anybody on our side doing this. It's beautiful. I love it so much. James Carville, the crash out. It's wonderful to see this man. He's going to have a heart attack, going through all this. This is, that we might be watching the end of James Carville because I don't think he can handle much more as his team is eating its own, as they are self-destructing by this. And it's getting really bad for them over there, folks. I mean, right now, Paramount, which is about to complete its deal with Warner Brothers, is going to take a little while, but their plans are to move their $30 billion in spending out of California. Paramount completely with Warner Brothers planning on moving out of California. I'll tell you guys, Hollywood, people don't talk about this enough. Hollywood is in the dregs. It is becoming a third world city. And one of the reasons is because the movie industry is dying. And those that are surviving are moving to cheaper places. It is not the LA of the past. And hopefully someday they find an industry, MAGA takes it over at some point. They wake up, because Los Angeles can be a beautiful city. I know. I love California. I grew up there, but I weep for where it is now. It is in a bad place. With this, though, this is the death blow. If Paramount completely leaves, Netflix has already moved its stuff to New Jersey. If Paramount leaves, there's very few left. And we'll see. And this is a big deal for them. This is one of the reasons California is able to get away with a lot of what they do, because of the wealth that was brought in by Hollywood. That's a lot of money. 30 billion gone. The people working there, all of a sudden, no one's running off to LA to go live their dreams. You move all that away. This is a major cultural shift. A lot of these places are moving to red states like Georgia. Hollywood, the more it gets spread out, and what I mean by Hollywood now, I mean it as just a name for the film industry. As the film industry moves out of LA and spreads out, we're going to get more diversity in our films. And by diversity, I don't mean DEI. I mean conservative viewpoints, MAGA kind of movies. That is starting to happen. And this is the hope we have, that they all break out of California and move to become independent. And that's the hope. And if you guys get a chance, and if you haven't already, watch my discussion with Tom Luongo last night, where we talk about the importance of movies and mythos for our culture. It is important. We want this to happen. We want this to go well. But what this does is, as they lose control, this is one of the main ways they swayed minds, especially young minds. is through movies and entertainment. They break their stronghold on that. You take it away from them. All of a sudden, they've lost one of their greatest assets. This is a huge win, friends. It's a huge win. And we need to all be pulling that the Paramount deal fully goes through, because it's not that Paramount is MAGA. All right. It's not MAGA, but I'll tell you, it's not woke liberals. It's a whole different, it's an old school generation of liberals that they're like, Paramount is the last studio, the major studio that is trying to be what Hollywood used to be, where we could actually watch and enjoy the movies. I don't think it's any coincidence that this is also putting out the Tom Cruise movies, which, are actually watchable. Now, so they're losing, they're panicking. And then we got gas. Peter St. Ong. He is one of the best economists out there, one of the smartest ones, one of the only ones who's telling you the truth about trends. And he's saying the oil prices could keep going to get to 40, which is something I've been saying for months. And I got made fun of or mocked by many people, especially on X, for how crazy that was. But here's Ong for a minute on what could happen through all this.
Oil prices are in free fall and could keep going to $40 a barrel, which implies $2 gasoline. Maybe we should close the Hormuz more often. With the war in Iran petering out, oil prices are crashing almost as fast as they rose, going from $105 a barrel 6 weeks ago to just over $70 on West Texas crude. That's barely above the $67 when the war started. And prediction market Kalshi is now projecting $60 oil by the end of the year, $7 below when the war started. More important, apparently the war has torn apart OPEC, with major members threatening to leave. One already has, which matters because OPEC breaking could take oil down into the 40s. So OPEC started in the 1960s explicitly to...
It's almost like Trump knew what he was doing with the Iran war, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. The energy glut we are about to enter is going to lead to massive increases in our economy and prosperity spreading, because once energy gets cheaper and cheaper, everything gets cheaper, and you're able to produce a lot more, which means prosperity, which means everything Trump's lining up can work heading into what he's calling a golden age. And so amazing stuff. And all this happening, $3 by the end of the year, we can handle that. Get oil down to 60, heading in the right direction. That's all happening. Meanwhile, the Democrats are already losing ground. They now, from the Harris X poll that was just done, they only have a 2-point advantage among likely voters, which is no longer enough to win the House. At this time in 2018, they had a 5 to 13 point advantage, and they're running out of time to get more support. In fact, I believe it's going backwards. Republicans win the midterms, black pillars lose again. I do believe that's where we're heading. It's looking better by the day. As Newt Gingrich writes, something interesting and unpredictable is happening around the country. In blue states, Republicans are doing unusually well. Oh, I thought it was a blue wave. Oh, that's what everybody's telling us. That's what the media is reporting. That's what Mark Halperin's betting on two-way, which a lot of people watch. In Oregon, according to a survey conducted by Public Opinion Strategies, Republican Christine Drazan leads Governor Keena Kotek 48 to 44%. In Oregon. Now, I don't think this will end up being the result, but still, that's close. In Minnesota, Michelle Tafoya, I believe it's Michelle Tafoya, is tied at 47 with Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. In a tie in Minnesota? That's wild. Hard to believe there's a blue wave coming when states like Minnesota and Oregon are in play. The continued rise of big government, socialist, weird values. Democrats seem to be turning off a lot of people, even in states that have traditionally been very left-wing. It's almost like I told you so. It's almost like Seth Keshel told us so. All the panic over the communist uprising is actually bad for them. And this is just more and more evidence of that. Oh, and by the way, the primaries, it's starting to prove that it's going to spread to the general. Recent poll has MAGA 12 points more excited to vote than Democrats.
Squirmy there, but Democrats have another problem. According to a new poll, 75% of MAGA voters are enthusiastic about voting in the midterms, while just 63% of Democrats said the same. Well, Joey is at the big board to break down squirmy there, but Democrats have
big problems, guys. Big problems. And then looking ahead, remember, if they lose this midterms, it's going to be very, very bad for them. If they win this midterms, it's still going to be very bad for them because the future is looking awful demographically for Democrats. Plus, they have no bench. Here's Greg Gutfeld giving a nice little roast of Gavin Newsom just as polling gets worse for Newsom.
You know what's funny about Newsom? He has the skills, but he has no appeal.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be frustrating for him to have the looks, the glibness, the assertiveness, the confidence, yet no dedicated fan base. He's like the least talented member of a boy band. And it's kind of sad. You know what? You know, people always compare him to the Christian Bale character in American Psycho. They're totally wrong. He's Harry Ellis from Die Hard, the coke-sniffing executive who says, "Hey, Bubby, I'm your white knight." You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you, Kaylee?
No, I don't. That's why I'm just nodding.
Die Hard.
I've been in the same room as the
I know
movie,
what Braveheart
but I've never really watched.
Okay, Harry Ellis, I'm your white. He goes up to the terrorists because he knows that they've got the power. And he's like, "Hey, I'm your white knight, Bubby." He's got cocaine all over his face. Then he dies, which is great.
No, I don't.
That's Gavin Newsom. He looks for the power. You know what's funny about Newsom? He has this.
He's 100% right. It's hilarious. And this is right as people are starting to think about the future more. And it's starting to affect Newsom's standing. Also, the investigations are starting to affect Newsom's standing. Look at this. Latest Zogby poll has Vance beating Gavin Newsom by 7 points. I'm telling you, when you look at the Democrats' bench for 28, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Newsom is their best shot. Nobody wants Kamala Harris. She's a joke. Buttigieg gets 0% approval from black voters because they don't want to vote for a gay guy. This is really bad for their future. And if Vance is already leading by 7 points, that's outside the margin of error, folks. Margin of error is generally 3 to 4. I know it's early and things can shift, but the point stands that they are looking at this polling now because they're trying to figure out their future. They are hyper focused on this midterms and on 28. And this kind of stuff has the Democrats scrambling. They are terrified right now. They are terrified, and you can tell because this is how Carville looks, and I'm guessing a lot more of them look like it than just him. It is freak out time for the Democrats. Do not believe the hype. Could they still pull off this year's House midterms? Yes, they could. I want to be honest about that. If we don't show up, they can win. They do have and will go all out. They will push everything, every last threat. Now, they did it in 24 and we still won anyways. But in 24, we had Trump on the ticket and people showing up to vote for him. They're going to do everything to win the House this midterms. They can win it. They could squeak it out. But the future is beyond that is very, very dark for them. And of course, the House is ours if we take it. It's just up to us to show up. So vote and we win. All right. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. Got more coming. Still got more. In fact, some very interesting stuff coming out from the justice aspect of stuff, things Trump administration is getting done. So we're going to talk about that next, and then the Grifter Report. But before I get to that, guys, I do want to get in the chat, catch up with you all. Let's see. I saw $5 chat from Chio Sap says President Trump can do all this, but if we don't go out and vote, it's for nothing. Vote, vote, vote. Amen. As I just said, I agree. $2 from Chio Sap says, if you didn't vote, you voted communist. Chio Sap also, 2 more super chats says, Trump said, I will obliterate the deep state and the angry raisin never leaves the bar. I love it. Thank you, Chio Sap, for your support of the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And Motley Crue with a $5 super chat says, if you're under 30, you're retarded. Like YouTube restrictions, more please. Thank you, Motley Crue. I appreciate you, your support, and thanks for making me laugh. Let me see if I'm missing any tags, any questions or comments from that segment. Bruce Rice says, Carville's starting to look like something in an interrupted gestation Pokemon ball. Right? That's why I'm going to leave this up here. That is the most panicky face, you're going to see for a while. Let's see. Oh, we had a troll. I love it. Good catch on the troll there, taking him out. $5 gas. Only blue states have $5 gas, retard. Sorry. And the no new wars thing is a psyop. It was no new stupid wars and no boots on the ground, which guess what? He's held to his promise on both things. I love the grifters. They are so stupid. They are so stupid. Come on, bring it in, trolls. You retards. Just show me I'm doing a good job by your panic. Your absolute panic and retarded takes. Makes me so happy. $25 super chat from AAG297 says, keep up the great work. Thank you for the dedication effects. Thank you, AAG. I will continue to promise you guys that I will always bring the receipts on why I'm saying what I'm saying. And, and as things change, I'll change if I'm wrong. Sleepy Trash says, I'm under 30 and going to go on to do great things just to spite you, Ace. Brother, thank you for the super chat. That doesn't spite me. That's what I want. A smart 29-year-old is still retarded in the fact they just don't have life experience, but it doesn't mean you're not going to always be retarded, and that's up to you. And I hope you go on to great things, and I will be cheering you on the entire way. There is a massive need for the young generation to aspire to great things and to keep growing and to be humble as they're doing so, and they will do great stuff. Grifter Report, it's the Jews. Yep. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. Grifter Report's coming, folks. And we got plenty to take out the Jew sounders. So, all right. Let's see. Old Hollywood told them they were leaving. Odyssey was their last chance. They're going to Las Vegas. Going to Vegas. Vegas is an interesting place for New Hollywood. Huh. I'd be interested in see what that's going to be like. Let's see. Places like Angel Studios are doing a great job, so love it. Oh man, we had more trolls too. This is great. I love it. Good job. Good job, mods, for taking them out. But also I still love seeing that they're there. Is it POS Stu Peters or Owen Schroyer? Not today. We just got some massive, well, it happened Friday, but there was a massive breakthrough in the Tyler Robinson case. It's got Candace scrambling. So we're going to talk about that, but that's not here yet. First, we got to talk about what the Trump admin is actually doing. Kevin Huffman says, with the $20 super chat, says, you could be old and retarded to look like Carville. Yeah, this is, that's what I think of when, maybe it's Carville paying these people. That's what I think of when the trolls come in the chat. This is what they look like to me in my mind. Obama 2028. That was one of the ones we got today. That's funny stuff. But yeah, that's the trolls, except, and some of them are younger and sitting at home in their parents' basement, 800 pounds, and still eating Doritos and Mountain Dew, despite the fact it's killing them. They look like, hold on. I'll tell you what what was it? Let me show you what the trolls look like, so you guys can, guys can understand what we're dealing with here when the trolls. This is the trolls. This is the trolls that come on my channel and hate, and this is who I'm dealing with. This is the internet police, the internet fighters. taking down YouTubers with their epic trolls. This is what we're dealing with. So they're really the people we should be listening to. This is who should get the say on the internet conversation. Tell us, folks. Tell us, oh wise ones, what is it you believe about how bad Trump is? Oh, thank you for your wisdom. As I always tell my kids, never ever listen to somebody that isn't where you would like to be in life. If it's somebody you don't want to be like, if they're uglier than you, don't listen to them for beauty tips. If they're poorer than you, or like my son's socialist professor in college, who drove my son crazy, was harping on successful people. And I told my son, I said, well, what does he do? And he's like, well, he's a community college professor. I was like, exactly. So he doesn't get to tell you about wealth, success, and business because he doesn't know anything. He gets his $60,000 salary. He lives in a single bedroom apartment with a little, chihuahua, and all he does is bitch about Elon Musk. That is a failure. Never listen to a failure when it comes to who you support in life and what you should do with your life. Ministry of Wrong Think with the $10 super chat says, I think it's possible Trump has troops take Karg Island. Karg's landscape is nothing like mainland Iran. We could take it quickly. Trump's leaving it so far to keep it as a bargaining tool. I actually 100% agree with you, Ministry. Thank you for the super chat. I 100% agree with you. You're absolutely right. Shogun says I should do AEI video stream as a troll. Maybe I'll start a second channel when I have time in my life, which that's just a joke right there. Time in my life. I have 6 kids. There's no such thing as time in my life. Okay, let's get into it. We have several things going on that the Trump administration continues to do that we voted for and barely gets reported. You have to go looking for it. One of those things is Pulte as DNI. Guess what? After the fight to keep him out, things got a lot quieter. Why did it get quieter? Because they're scared. And they're probably all scrambling to hide. As of right now, Pulte is doing exactly what Trump installed him to do. Pulte, according to John Solomon, has now announced a 3rd round of layoffs as director of DNI, or National Intelligence. I got to tell you, this is major panic in the deep state. They are freaking out as this guy is in there. The bulldog is in the china shop and he is breaking things, which is exactly what we want. Exactly what we voted for. He's setting it all up. Setting it up to for the next guy to come in, and who knows after that. But Pulte is going to be allowed to get away with stuff that another a full-timer wouldn't. And so we're getting exactly what we want from this. Keep an eye on this. There is a setup coming here. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like and what's going to come out of it, but I can tell you this is direct assault on the globalist deep state, on the people embedded in our government who work for the other side. And it's beautiful to see. I'm telling you, they're not firing the good ones, folks. They're not firing the good ones. This is going to reshape our CIA, our NSA, so on and so forth. Great stuff. And Trump continues to hammer this home. He tweeted again this morning, to show the importance of the Slaughter case, 90 years of precedent has been completely and unequivocally overruled, greatly increasing presidential power at a time when it's needed. That is directly connected to the firings. They can get rid of anybody they want now. Anybody they want, unless they work at the Fed, of course, because that makes sense that the Supreme Court carved out an exemption for the Fed. But regardless, anybody in the government right now that's run by the executive can be fired. And that is a lot of people. A lot of people. And Trump is gleefully taking advantage of it. As he said, this might have been the most important case, despite the birthright and mail-in ballots not going our way. Trump continues to highlight that this might be the most important one because this is the 3rd or 4th time he's tweeted this out now. So you know it's important. While that's going on, Markwayne Mullin has now declared that states must adopt new election security measures to receive FEMA funding. We continue to see the Trump administration making lemonade out of lemons. They're given they keep cranking up the difficulty to hard and super hard with all the judges ruling against them, the Senate not working with them, the blue states fighting against them. That keeps cranking it up to hard mode. And the Trump administration, instead of complaining, instead of trying to tell us they can't get it done, keeps finding new ways to push it through. This is huge for election integrity. This FEMA funding is something a lot of states rely on in hard times, especially blue states that are already operating in deficits with massive debt ahead of them for pension plans and all their socialist utopia dreams. They need this funding more than red states do. So this is a big push on that, and it just shows you how we keep coordinating around. Now, with all these people being pushed out in the intelligence agencies, we have Pete Hegseth announcing a crackdown on leakers.
As you know, we live in a dynamic and dangerous threat environment where access to and accumulation of closely held information is key to understanding our world. The unauthorized disclosure of sensitive War Department information has the very real potential to cause exceptionally grave damage to our national security and the operational integrity of our armed forces. To leak sensitive national defense information and secrets betrays the men and women who wear our nation's uniform. It's a principle as old as war. And in the United States goes back to the founding of our republic. George Washington himself battled leaks, insider threats, and espionage. When a leak of department information occurs today, it's critical that we provide the Department of Justice and other partners in federal law enforcement, including the FBI, with actionable information as quickly as possible. And that's why the Department of War and the Department of Justice have created a joint task force to identify and prosecute leakers.
Whoa.
I'd like to thank Acting Attorney General Blant.
This is a big deal. The military is now joining forces with the DOJ to go after leakers. What's another way to look at what a leaker is? You could call them traitors. You could say they're seditious, which if it's a traitor, it means they're technically acting as foreign enemies, which means that the military could have jurisdiction on the justice aspect. Man, I'm telling you guys, for everybody paying attention, these things are massive. And this is just, they're gonna avoid talking about this stuff, but this is ramping it up. The way I see it, bringing in the military means the leaker is code for the traitors. That's what this means to me. So, watching this play out is going to be fascinating. But again, Trump not doing anything. Yeah. Keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. There's still 2.5 years left, folks. 2.5 years to get a lot done. And 4 months to the midterms. How much are we going to accomplish before then? This is a lot of coordination going on right now. Coordination for justice. Getting spicy. So while all that's going on, and guess what? We were told the H-1B was a big thing last week. Oh, Google just fired, or not Google. What was it? Microsoft just fired a bunch of people for Xbox, bringing in H-1Bs. Trump's not doing anything about it. Really? No, we're continuing to get where we voted for. U.S. employers have reportedly been told to fire hundreds of thousands of immigrant workers as temporary legal status and work permits expire. Oh, yeah. That's about to ramp up as well. Fire them. This is the United States government telling these businesses, we're not re-upping them. It's not happening. We're getting rid of the H-1Bs, pushing them out, getting rid of green cards, pushing them out while deporting at the fastest rate ever the illegals. Oh, baby. This means that a bunch of these legal immigrants are about to become illegal. And they're going to be panicking over this. Just keeps happening, guys. As all this is happening, and then the exposure of fraud. Look at this little video that Oz and Shirley put together this weekend.
So I'm going to blow your mind. You ready? Hold on tight. Double-digit number of pharmacies. How many pharmacies do you need on this little strip of terrain in Flushing? Come on, I'll show you this. You can't even believe this is true unless you see it. There's a strip there. There are more than half a dozen pharmacies, back to back to back. The question is, how many pharmacies do you need back to back to back to back? Now, if I was running a restaurant, I might think about it because it's, a food court. But this is like a pharmacy court. So we got one here.
One right there.
Number two, another pharmacy. Again, the question becomes, how many do you actually need? Another pharmacy. I'm losing track, but there's
now
more.
We're at 4.
Yeah, it's like a game show.
So right here we have another adult daycare. Look
Across
at this.
the street.
Across the street.
And again, more pharmacies.
More pharmacies.
I mean, after a while, you start to realize something's not right. And then you actually look at the books, the finances, which is my job, and we see billions of dollars being spent on social adult daycare, which it seems inconceivable. The spot we just walked into, they have 15 people. He says they see 25 people a day. What if I could run a business that made millions of dollars and seeing 15, 25 people not doing anything except playing, video games and mahjong and some yoga?
And another adult daycare right there.
Yep. After a while, it's almost clutters your mind to mention more. There's more pharmacies.
Another pharmacy right there. Yeah, another one right there. Another pharmacy right here.
Come on, we're double digits now. It's like the kids in the back of the seat pointing out the obvious. Everywhere you look, there's something having to do with healthcare. And what again is mind-blowing is there is no way you would build a facility, a street, and think you'd have more than 10 pharmacies on it. I don't think you go anywhere in America and think that was normal, unless there was a cash cow business that was feeding into it, which again raises our concerns that there's something here that doesn't meet the eye. And you look around, these folks tend to be from China and Korea. They don't want us here. We are from the outside. They don't share our culture. Getting these folks to talk to us about what is going on here has been really difficult.
We have another pharmacy.
Of course.
And essentially all you'll need is a medical beneficiary number, and that is worth more than any credit card that a senior can give anybody.
Some of the drugs in these pharmacies cost more than a car.
What? This is New York City, folks. That's crazy. The fraud exposure is coming out. This was a single block in New York City. All of it's happening, guys. It's crazy stuff, but this is the kind of thing that wakes people up, as you can see it. They're doing great job on this. It's continuing. Again, why do I, when I do these segments where I want to show you the justice aspect of us getting what we voted for, you got to understand the reason I'm all over these places is because, and I do so many different things in one area, whether it's deportations, the intelligence cleanup, deep state cleanup, the fraud, because it's all justice oriented. It's all fixing what's broken in our country. And this is what we voted for. You vote on this and then you realize, oh my God, it's so much worse than what we knew. It is so much worse. And we knew it was bad. But the thing is because they are attacking it from every angle, this is a comprehensive fix the Trump administration is doing. And this is going to have repercussions and consequences for the future that are really exciting for what we want. It's going to keep happening because they are attacking it from so many ways. Look at this. The biggest bust of history of illegals took place in the Trump administration. They were white-collar employees. I didn't see this reported, but look at this. In September 25, U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement conducted a massive raid at Hyundai Motor Group. Detained 475 workers, including 300 South Korean nationals. This is crazy. How many of these are there? White collar illegals taking jobs based on years of working in the industry. For a year prior, people were arguing it. This is crazy, but this is what the Trump administration is doing. And guess what? Nobody's covering it, or very few are. What about our food? Look at this. They just caught Big Beef mixing foreign meat into a small rancher's product because they were too successful. Justin Pettit built Santa Carota beef finishing cattle on carrot. Sustainable alternative conventional feedlots went viral for its taste and the fact that none of the carrot sugar metabolizes into the meat due to how ruminant stomachs work. A large meat processor caught mixing foreign beef with his product, burning the company for millions. This is why we're paying so much. This is what happens in an industry where 4 companies control 85% of American beef processing. But the good news is, guys, they were caught. This is the silver lining. Some people will watch this and be like, that's terrible. Things are so bad. And I say, yeah. But the good news is they were caught because they were getting away with this stuff for a long time. A long time. And then we got the pedophile program. You guys want to know why they try to paint the Trump administration and all those fighting for America like Elon Musk as the Epstein class? This is why. Because they don't want you to see the actual major problem we have here in our country.
You were in Marion County, Florida, just 2 days ago, and we had 51 guys show up in 6 days.
Slow down a second.
Yeah.
51 guys online talking to people they know or
in Marion County, Florida. This is Ocala.
Wow.
We've done it in Martin County, just down the road.
51 in a week's time.
In 6 days. So in Marion County, they do a massive operation with a huge staff once a year. Other counties do it. Other jurisdictions do it. Smaller doses, more frequent across the year. But this was shocking to even me. And the kinds of cases, Sean, we had a guy show up at the county jail to pick up a 14-year-old girl. And in the decoy scenario, she said, well, I just was visiting my dad who's locked up. I don't have a ride. And he wants to pick her up and sexually exploit her. We had a guy show up at a Target to meet who he thought was a dad offering up his 7 and 14-year-old son. And if you saw this guy in Target standing in line, he doesn't stick out of the crowd, Sean. You wouldn't have even thought twice about this guy being dangerous.
51 guys showed up in 6 days. 51 guys to meet up with kids. And that's in Florida. Imagine what it's like in blue cities, blue states, where crime is not prosecuted. Stuff, guys, the real problem is, and this is the problem the Trump administration is trying to clean up. The FBI is busting. The DHS is cleaning up from all the trafficked people across the border under Biden. It's happening, but they don't want you to see that. They want you focused on the Epstein files because the Epstein files are interesting and salacious. And yeah, there's rich people involved in it, famous people. But the real problem, and not that that wasn't a problem, but that was one guy connected to some really rich people. The bigger problem is much more prevalent, and they don't talk about it. There's a reason for that. Things are ramping up as well in the AI world. ChatGPT is about to go down. This is good news for a lot of reasons because we want AI to be held accountable. AI is not going anywhere, but the way we win is to be held accountable for this kind of stuff to be busted. And OpenAI, which is Sam Altman, is the worst of the worst. Apple is now suing them. This is how they got caught. A candidate screenshotted confidential Apple files on his Apple laptop hours before his interview. Sorry about my dogs, guys, if you're hearing those. Apple read its own server logs, rerouting pipeline, generated its own evidence trail. OpenAI caught stealing information. Suing OpenAI. So if we clean out the bad ones and let the government do that, it gives us a lot of hope for the future. See, Elon was calling this out a long time ago. Elon knew Sam Altman would use OpenAI for if Apple opened that door. He warned them here. Don't think they didn't see it. This is Elon. A year ago. If Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. This is more of the justice, guys. This is the fixing. See, I know a lot of people are terrified of technology, the technocracy, and rightfully so from a certain standpoint. But what most people don't understand is that there are good people on that side. And there's good people who will use it ethically. There's good people who, and we can make sure that this tech ends up being a benefit to mankind, not a deficit. That is the, same thing as the internet, same thing as electricity. Going back, every technological advance has been met with a lot of fear because of what it could be used for. But people also seem to forget the good side of it. AI being cleaned up, these kind of fights, thanks to people like Elon Musk, are going to go our way. And this is one of those areas where I believe we will also keep winning so long as we don't stop. And but they're not going to stop trying to lie to us in reality. And so what I wanted, I also wanted to share this because with all that's going on that is good, just remember that how the psyops work, how they're going to keeping you focused or trying to keep you focused or growing out of this, trying to keep you focused on what's not happening or what doesn't ultimately, the small part. It's just like the Epstein versus what's actually going on with human trafficking and pedophilia in our nation. Here's interracial violence narrative versus the reality. The narrative is this is what they focus on, the white on black crime. But when you actually look at all the data, it's the smallest one other than the Hispanic on black. Look at the difference there. That's how psyops work. And that's like the people who tell you the Trump administration is not doing anything. Okay? That's what they're telling you. That's what they're trying to lie to you about. They want you to believe all this other noise and focus on other things so that you don't recognize what else is happening. And they're going to keep psyoping us forever. It's what they do. It's how it works. Like this article that came out this weekend. Tennessee, according to CNBC, is the worst place to live in America. You notice how it's very red states are the top three? Louisiana, Georgia, Utah, Missouri, Alabama, Oklahoma. They don't even try to act like they're being impartial. CNBC's 10 worst states to live, all red. But in the article, it breaks it down. It's the worst place to live because the government clamps down on troonery and pedophilia. And black people commit crimes and get arrested and punished for these. That's basically what it says when you read through the article. That's how a psyop works. They push a headline out. They get you focused on one thing. Most people will just look at this list and never get into the details. But then when they read, oh, it's because of these laws that don't let the crazies run wild. And that's what I try to do here, guys. I try to actually look at the details of what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not perfect. We all get caught in a psyop every once in a while, and we're only as good as the information we can find. But that's why I have this screen up showing you guys what's going on, because I want you to actually look through it all. Now, with all the stuff I've been showing you, the justice aspect, what the Trump administration's accomplishing, this was just announced as well. The National Guard will remain stationed at D.C. until Inauguration Day 29. 5,100. Do you think there's more than just a crime aspect going on here? Why they're keeping the National Guard there? This tells me that the Trump administration has a lot more plans for advancing this MAGA agenda, what we voted for. And in order to get it done, they got to keep the military locked down in D.C., which also means, based on like what Pete Hegseth was just saying, if they have any operations for leakers or such like that to carry out, hey, guess what? They're already on the ground. Stuff can get very interesting very fast. But regardless, there's a whole lot going on because this is a comprehensive attempt to fix our nation. And so you have to, it's hard to pay attention to it all. But that's what I'm trying to do to show you guys. We are winning in so many areas because the Trump administration's not leaving any stones unturned. And that should give you guys a lot of hope and expectancy for the last 2.5 years and for moving forward. It's cleanup time in the U.S., and we're seeing it happen all over the place. Okay, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Next, we got the Grifta Report. We're going to finish with the Grifta today. And man, we got some good stuff coming up. But Did you miss it? No, you didn't miss the Grifter Report. It's coming. It's coming. What's this? Kevin's with another $100 super chat. My God, Kevin. Thank you, sir. He says, I'm so damn excited. I can't stand it. That's how I feel a lot of the time when I'm reading this news, brother. When you know when you know what to look for, when you know how to read through all this, it's hard not to get excited, honestly. When you see this is stuff we've been wanting to see for years. I mean, I've been following politics closely since I was 17. That's 25 years. Got to vote when I was 18 for the first time. And all I ever lived with was excuses why stuff didn't get done. And the wins were always very small, but you keep on keeping on. Now, it's unbelievable to me seeing how much is being accomplished in such a small time. It is the best. It's the best feeling ever. I'm so grateful that for everything we're seeing getting done. It's amazing. And it really, really is exciting. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else trying to tag me or anything. Pete says, Elon getting pissed off at Tim Cook with Trump in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. What was that? I don't think Elon likes Apple. I really don't. So. Hengis touting Aldi. Dude, I shop at Aldi all the time. It's amazing. It saves my family so much money. Deuterino says, don't get too political here. Apple hardware and local LLMs running on Apple devices are going to benefit consumers. Well, it's not about politics on that. It's more about the understanding what the future is and how to do it safely. And Apple made a big mistake partnering with OpenAI. They did. And listen, Apple deserves it. When we call it out, they deserve being crapped on. Apple is not my favorite company. Molly Krill says, Hyundai raid was huge in Georgia. Kemp knew it was happening, did nothing to stop it until Trump was reelected. Kemp is a rhino. He is a rhino. He is terrible. But thankfully, he, just like many other rhinos, he's a coward and he falls in line when the right person is in charge. So, okay. Let's get to the Grifter Report, shall we? So, starting last week, the Tyler Robinson preliminary hearing came into effect, and it's been disastrous, to say the least, for the whole Grifter crowd, especially Candace Owens and her minions. And then Friday, we got massive news on a video that came out showing Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk. That they actually got it on video. And here is a breakdown from the prosecutors talking about it.
UVU has a great surveillance system, and they captured the defendant coming onto campus at about 7 a.m., or I think about 8 a.m. Okay, it's clearly him. He's driving his gray Dodge Charger. And I should say he's from St. George, so this isn't just a casual passing by Utah Valley University. This is a 3.5-hour drive from his home, 250 plus miles from his home. They capture his car pulling into the Utah Valley University parking structure. He gets out of the car. He's wearing his favorite Hurley hat, a maroon t-shirt, shorts, and Converse shoes. The same clothing he's wearing when he turns himself in the next day. Clearly him. There's good facial images and everything. He walks around campus and he scouts campus out. He then leaves the campus. UVU surveillance then captures him return later. He returns on foot right before the Charlie Kirk event. He's wearing a disguise of sorts. He's wearing a baseball cap, different baseball cap, pulled low. He's got sunglasses on, a different shirt, different pants, but the same Converse shoes. That's all seen in the surveillance. He's limping because there's a rifle down his pants. The surveillance captures this individual. Again, I don't want to overstate the evidence because the pictures of his face at this time are not as definitive as they were earlier because of the sunglasses and the hat. But it captures his face, captures his appearance, his height, his build, all consistent with how he looks earlier in the day and how he looks today in court. But he makes his way to the rooftop, makes his way to the sniper's perch on the rooftop, takes the shot, and then runs to the northeast, drops off the building and runs to the northeast of campus into a wooded area.
This is devastating. They literally got it all. It's all on film, and it's high def. This is devastating. Okay, this is entered into a court of law. They cannot fake that This isn't, that's not going to work here. So Candace's entire thing is now falling apart. Everybody who said, and it already was looking bad, but this is the final nail in the coffin. So sorry if you're trusting Candace, but it's not looking good for you. As Kanakoa writes here, I have to sincerely thank Candace because, she's freaking out a little bit. And so she's starting to make some more mistakes. Imagine that. Says in 10 months, she never produced a shred of evidence Egyptian planes, U.S. military, French legionnaires, or TPUSA killed Charlie Kirk. But this week, she finally produced evidence that Tyler Robinson did. She messed up, man. The photo she released shows Robinson at a Dairy Queen a few minutes from campus evening of the shooting wearing a white logo Hurley hat. Same white logo Hurley hat shooter seen wearing on campus. Same white logo Hurley hat Agent Davis described in his testimony. Robinson worn Hurley hats in photos since his teens, usually the dark logo, but that day white logo. On campus at Dairy Queen at the following night, he turned himself into police. 10 months of devoting yourself to defending Charlie's accused killer. And the first real evidence you ever produced puts Tyler Robinson near the scene hours after the murder in Shooter's hat. Thank you for your service, Candace Owens. She done screwed up. She's buried
Do you
herself.
believe you recognize who that person is?
Yes.
Who is that?
I believe that's Tyler Robinson.
This is the photo Candace produced to say he wasn't there. He was at Dairy Queen. This woman is stupid. She is really stupid. She really, really screwed up. And now, who's still trusting this chick? More people are uncovering stuff about Candace. Look at this. She hires H-1B immigrants. This is the America Firster. Here's Candace's employee, H-1B, $66,000 a year. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Candace Owens, for all your help. People are calling her out, trying to get her to debate with you. As she wrote here, in the spirit of Charlie, I welcome a public debate with any one of you geniuses who thinks Erica's a grieving widow. Well, here it is. Candace Owens declined my debate invite. In fact, they're offering a lot of money, $80,000 from Brian Atlas, and Andrew Wilson says he'll match $160,000, and she's not taking it. This chick is scared. It's falling apart, and it's so beautiful to watch. One of the reasons it's falling apart is because Brian Harpole filed a suit against her, and guess what? They're trying to serve her, and she keeps evading them over and over and over again. Looks like Brian Harpole's been trying to serve Candace Owens. She's hiding from service. I thought she wanted the lawsuit. I thought it was take it on. I'll take it on. I'll beat you. Yeah, bring it out. I want everything out in public. Okay, Candace. Okay. No, it's just getting worse for her. It's getting so bad that even Asmongold can't stay out of it. I played a clip from him last week, and well, he's doubling down as well because he cannot believe what he's seeing.
Overwhelmed right now, Mr. Vice President. I'm just so overwhelmed. Dab, dab, dab. No tears. I'm so overwhelmed. And he was probably like, oh my God. And my kids, I just don't want my kids to be an orphan, Mr. Vice President. I know, I'm so sorry. That's what I think went down.
What a nasty fucking bitch. I really hope that the Charlie Kirk thing, I hope that this sinks these people's careers. I don't think it will, but I hope it does. What a bunch of nasty, disgusting people. Really. How disgusting and nasty and weird. I really like... Candace literally accused Erica of offing her own husband. I know. But, again, I'm glad to see more people saying this. She should get the Alex Jones treatment for this. Maybe. I don't know. She lost it. I mean, losing it implies that she ever had it, which I don't know if that's necessarily true either.
The number one podcaster in the world, streamer in the world, taking her down. This is a good thing. We are heading in the right direction. See, what's going to happen, and I'll tell you guys right now how this is going to go. Candace is going to remain popular. She's going to have her people who double down. She's going to have her group. She's going to keep making her money. Her husband is buku rich. She's going to have, but here her impact is going to go away. Her relevance is going to fade away. So she'll have her little pocket, but it's going to fade away because the time is ending. She's reached her apex, and now it's falling apart in real time. And I'm excited for that. The Grifter Report will continue, but Candace is no longer going to be a focus on it much longer. And I get to move on from Candace Owens, which I'm excited about because there's other grifters I want to go after. But right now, Candace is the main one because of this, how she went after Charlie Kirk's legacy, tried to ruin his business and his family. But thankfully, because of all this, people are waking up. More and more comments like this are surfacing. I would like to admit I drank some of the Candace Kool-Aid. Now I feel so gutted for ever believing Erica had anything to do with it. Yeah, you should. Anybody who believed Erica was a part of it, you should feel bad about it. I understand you wanted to blame somebody. I understand you fell into the conspiracy loop and took it to another level. But the fact that you would be willing to go after a grieving widow who there's no evidence she's ever done anything bad to you or the country. In fact, you'd be willing to go after a grieving young widow with baby kids, just lost her husband, well before you had any actual evidence against her. That's sick. And it was a real problem in our country. It's a real problem with the people following people like Candace Owens. And for taking Candace's lead on that, you should feel ashamed. You really should. Because now Erica is being validated more and more and more but every day. And Candace is looking more and more. Because I'm telling you, folks, when you do a show like Candace's, it's one thing to make a mistake once in a while and admit it. It's another thing to keep doubling down on lies over and over and over again. It's disgusting. And especially when people's lives are at stake. There were death threats for Erica Kirk at one of the places she was speaking at a couple months ago, and she had to cancel because they were so pertinent to the situation and so likely. So that's sick. And everybody who believed this should be ashamed. So it's time to wake up like this person did and do the right thing. And in defense of those who had questions, well, here's JD Vance admitting he had questions as well after Charlie's death.
I'll tell you something I haven't talked about publicly before, but in the days after Charlie's death, I struggled a great deal. I'm sure many of you did too. I remember watching every video of the assassination, looking for clues, trying to understand what happened. I try to hide my friend and that terrible bullet hitting him, but I would try to look around. I stayed up all night for many nights in a row, researching every conspiracy theory, going down every rabbit hole. When my lovely wife Usha told me to come to bed, I told her I owed it to Charlie to try to uncover every stone, and so that's what I tried to do. I remember I was consumed by this fear that Charlie's death wouldn't just deprive a family of their husband or of a good father, but that it would deny our movement of a great unifier of people and a great doer of great deeds. It's the only time I can remember my wife ever telling me that she was really worried about me. She told me it many times. But what saved me was not lying to myself, but accepting the reality of the fight that we're in. Charlie's death was an immense loss, an irreplaceable loss. We got kicked in the teeth, my friends, and there's no sugarcoating it or pretending that it didn't happen. We need to accept that. And what saved me was realizing that the story of the Christian faith, like the story of these United States of America, is one of immense loss followed by even bigger victory.
Amen. Strong finish there. You know, the main reason Charlie was taken out is because of the advance of TPUSA. He was too strong. They were too effective. And because of TPUSA, it's one of the reasons Trump won so handily, running away with it in a rigged election when we had everything against us. TPUSA was powerful, TPUSA was effective, and it was growing. And Charlie was, other than Trump, the most trusted leader in MAGA. It's just a fact. And so taking him out, they couldn't get Trump, so they took him out. And do I believe Tyler Robinson was influenced and pushed to it by outside forces? 100%. And I do believe at some point that'll come out. But Tyler Robinson did pull the trigger. He absolutely pulled the trigger. He killed Charlie Kirk. We're seeing it. We're seeing all the evidence point to it. Whether he worked with somebody or not, whether he was put up to it by somebody or not, he did it. And the evidence is so overwhelming now. You have to be it's stupid to think otherwise. You do, because whether you agree with it or not, there's no evidence to support you. So until one person ever can bring evidence saying, proving anything different than Tyler Robinson was a part of it, we need to go with the narrative that has evidence with it. We have to. That's what we're inclined to do. That's how you actually get stuff done. So we start there, and then we can start branching. Okay, Tyler did this. He pulled the trigger. Was there more to the story? And I'm okay with that. Let's do that. But the whole idea, anybody who comes to me and says TPUSA was a part of this, I'm not listening. Anybody who says Erica Kirk was a part of it, I'm not listening. Anybody who says Israel was a part of it, I'm not listening. But if you want to talk about other aspects like the Trump administration does, how about Antifa, which is linked to City of London, George Soros funded? That makes sense. That fits the evidence that we have on a larger scale. Clandestine writes this, reminder, immediately after Charlie was assassinated, Trump and his administration openly and repeatedly connected the murder to Antifa. Stephen Miller, Cash, Trump hinted Antifa was involved in Charlie's murder. Why do you think Candace Owens was deployed? She was deployed to get the scent off of the real enemy, which is the leftists that are paid and propagating and spreading the City of London, deep state, globalist push. That's a fact, folks. I'm sorry, but everything points to that. I'm going to call it a fact because that's what all the evidence points to. And who am I going to trust more? Tell me who I should trust more than President Trump in all of this. I can't think of one person. Tell me. I'm probably going to laugh you out if you think there is somebody else, but I don't think there's anybody else you can trust more than this. It says, fast forward to today, as soon as the preliminary trial ends, Rubio says he's going after Antifa. It's almost like Trump and his administration are trying to tell us something. These very well may be co-conspirators to Charlie's murder, but it's not the Jews or Egyptian planes, it's Antifa. Yes. Trump and his admin are spoon-feeding it to us. They can't tell us directly because it's active investigation. They're hinting heavily. And this is a question through Grok. Yes, the Trump administration repeatedly and prominently mentioned Antifa in connection with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Trump blamed radical left organizations fund and support it. Antifa's domestic terrorist. Stephen Miller described a vast domestic terror movement linked to the left. That's who wanted Charlie dead. That makes way more sense in Israel. It makes way more sense than every other stupid thing Candace Owens and her peons like Ian Carroll, the retards on her side, ever brought to us. Because there's actually evidence there that fits the grand scheme of the fight we're in. And that, folks, is just how you got to look at it. I'm sorry, but we follow the evidence here. Even Nick Fuentes admits it.
What changed in 2024 and 2025 is it became really in vogue and really popular for people to talk about Jews in Israel in a negative way, also just to talk about conspiracies in general. Suddenly, that became the grift. And it attracted people that were looking for notoriety, people that were looking to build a social platform. How do we know this? Well, look at Jackson Hinkle. Jackson Hinkle, I think, gained like 3 million Twitter followers in 9 months. What explains the explosion in engagement for people criticizing Israel? No one's going to like to hear this. You're going to call me a grifter. You're going to call me a shill. You're going to say controlled opposition, switch sides. Honest to God truth. This is the truth. Probably it was being driven from foreign countries and the left.
Wow. When did Nick get based? What is happening to Nick Fuentes? This is not how Nick used to speak. I'm sorry. He is taking out all the other grifters. He is. He's just like lined them up and taking them all down. This is wild that Nick is now saying the things that honestly we could have accused him of not that long ago. And again, do I trust Nick Fuentes? Not as far as I could throw him. The guy's been his own grifter. The question is, why is he doing this? Is he seeing the writing on the wall and he's trying to save himself? I don't know. But something has significantly changed with Nick Fuentes. Here's some more.
Heart of the Wolf sent $50. Did you see Ben Shapiro did a parody of Candace Owens' show? After like 30 minutes, he dropped the act and broke down all of her logical fallacies. She is making him sound like a reasonable person. Crying face emoji.
I did. And honestly, that is literally what is happening, is she is letting them snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. She got ratioed by Data Republican, Andrew Colvett, Ben Shapiro. And it's true. It's making us look like idiots. Ben Shapiro is eating her lunch right now. Andrew Colvett is eating her lunch right now. Data Republican is eating her lunch right now because she was wrong. And it's not sustainable. You can't be wrong forever like that. You can, and I kept saying, like, when will it end? She's obviously wrong. When will it end? Here it is. Here's the big, spectacular moment of truth. And so, like, I'll show you. It was brutal. So Candace Owens says to Andrew Colvett, no, Andrew Colvett, that would be you. And who even has time for all this? Look at the. What happened to a tweet? What happened to a tweet? This is not a tweet. So she writes all this stuff to Andrew Colvett. 1 million views, 21,000 likes. Data Republican, 85,000 likes, almost 4 million views. Data Republican says, hello, Mrs. Owens. You told millions of people that Tyler Robinson wasn't even there. You felt...
I went through that same tweet, but it's pretty amazing watching Nick Fuentes destroy Candace Owens. I'm so here for it. And he's calling them all out. Ian Carroll showing up out of nowhere. Nick Fuentes, honestly, I feel like Nick must be watching my show because he's stealing my material. I'm the first guy who said all this stuff. Not like, I mean, obviously Data Republican wrote that, and there's probably somebody else here like, no, they said it first. Okay, fine. As far as I know, I was the first one to do videos on this stuff. I started calling out Ian Carroll, I think it was May of last year, okay? And the people who've been watching a long time know I've been doing a form of grifter report calling out influencers for well over a year and a half now. So, but it's crazy watching Nick Fuentes say exactly what I've been saying. This is crazy to me because Nick has been a frequent contributor to the Grifter Report. Let me put it that way. To see him turn like this is wild. But meanwhile, while he's turning, Tucker Carlson's doubling down. Here's a nice little Milk Bar TV compilation of Tucker with Candace.
So why do people like Candace so much? Because they sense in her, she might be wrong. Is she lying to me? Not on purpose. They sense the purity of her intent. That's the truth.
Your good friend Candace Owens has been putting out some pretty wacko stuff, I would say, would be my opinion, on the death of Charlie. It's not helpful, is it, that, you know, at that time of an incredible national upheaval, and obviously personal and familial family tragedy, to have someone like that suggesting that there are darker forces at play here that the US government have a hand in covering up. Can you see why people get upset by that and would like you perhaps to sort of distance yourself from that sort of thing?
Pretty funny. So am I going to attack Candace Owens because you think...
I'm not asking you to attack her.
I'm not going to do that, Harry.
Candace Owens, I've known a long time. I love Candace Owens. Anybody who is earnestly searching for the truth, whether they're right or wrong, but as long as they're motivated by a desire to find out what happened and therefore honor Charlie's memory by getting to justice, anyone who's doing that, I'm not going to criticize. Again, no matter what track they're on.
Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk's assassination, conspiracy theory. What's your take?
And I don't think we should be intimidated out of asking those questions. Those are not unpatriotic questions. Those are questions that I think...
Does it surprise you? This goes on for 3 more minutes. Tucker, though, they're the Duganites. That's what we're going to start calling them, and that's to Brian Cates. I give credit to him for coining that term. Duganites. These are the guys in the Alexander Dugan network. And of course they're supporting their own, but it's interesting because we see people like Megyn Kelly kind of backtracking. Nick Fuentes is now going after them. And then you see the other ones doubling down. That is panic, folks. It's all unwinding. The grifter network is unwinding. And Tucker, he's doubling down on all kinds of crazy stuff. Graham Plattner, who just got pushed out. Well, here's the Tucker Carlson network take on Graham Plattner. It's not about the sex or tattoos. They care about getting him canceled because he opposed their economic and foreign policy programs that serve the powerful and shaft average Americans. So now he's supporting the hardcore DSA leftists? Wow. That's rough. That's pretty rough. As James Lindsey writes, Tucker is getting pretty close to outright sedition now, as Tucker doubles down on this. American member of Congress threatened by foreign terrorists carrying American rifles, backed by a foreign military paid for by American taxpayers, and the U.S. ambassador to that country says not a word in defense of his own countrymen, instead uses his social media accounts to promote his own vapid cable news appearances. He's calling out Mike Huckabee for something that was really not a big deal, because they were calling out the guys at the Kill Trump Khomeini funeral, like Max Blumenthal and Hinkle. That's who Mike Huckabee didn't stand up for. And Tucker Carlson is mad about it. Is Ro Khanna, I believe it was Ro Khanna was the specific one he's talking about. Yeah, that's wow. Tucker getting in deep. And then you got Dugan, who posted this on Friday. This is the man who called for Lindsey Graham's death, who has been trying to destroy MAGA, who has called out in celebration all the grifters at some point, whether he's called out Candace or Tucker or Alex Jones or Megyn Kelly. He has celebrated all the people that have been frequent stars of the Grifter Report here on American Fire. Yeah, it's not coincidence. We have Glenn Greenwald and Tucker Carlson meeting Dugan and interviewing him. We have Candace Owens going off mysteriously to Russia and then showing up in a panel adjacent to Dugan. Wild stuff. Funny how they all kind of make their way back to this guy. And he's throwing out on Friday, Trump's a decrepit, senile old man who's brutally exploited by cold and cynical manipulators. It's pitiful and disgusting to watch. He doesn't understand anything at all, falling asleep on his feet. Author of this vile play should be hanged. Oh, that's an interesting thing to finish with. But here is where you get the psyop that people like Steve Bannon are pushing, because Bannon and the smart grifters, they don't go after Trump specifically because then they'll lose too much of their viewers. No, what they like to do is say Trump's being manipulated or Trump's listening to the wrong people. That's the psyop, folks. And that's how they're undermining Trump. And Dugan, again, is showing exactly how it works. Exactly the wording that all those other guys push for. Because whenever Trump screws up and they can't call him out directly, they call out the people manipulating Trump instead. And that's how they can survive without completely losing their audiences. Thank God for people like Data Republican, though, who Alexander Dugan had something to say to Lindsey Graham's death, saying the sudden death of Lindsey Graham can be the black mark sent to Trump. I doubt it were Iranians. Most realistic, it was Mossad. Oh, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. You see how this guy has all the talking points of the grifters? It just keeps using them. Clearly means you are the next. Oh, are you sending out a warning to President Trump that you're next after Lindsey Graham? Interesting. Lindsey Graham was a shadow of Trump, his black self. Wow. Thank God we have Data Republican, though, to go after him. Hello, Mr. Dugan. You blame Israel for Lindsey Graham's death before his body was cold. No evidence, just a Mossad conspiracy theory. 10 months ago, you said Charlie Kirk was killed by Ukraine. You compared him to your daughter. Kirk, Ukraine did it. Graham, Mossad did it. Two different actors, two different motives, same country, 10 months apart. You never address the contradiction because there's nothing to address. Blame is assigned by the victim's politics. Kirk was MAGA, blame MAGA's enemies. Graham was a neocon, blame Israel. Your common thread, whatever undermines America. Wow. She nails it. She goes on to just absolutely destroy him. But Data says you are a small man made large by people who needed you to be large. I wonder who needed him to be large. Tucker Carlson, Greenwald, Candace Owens. You blame Israel for Graham's death because that's what left you when you have no credentials, no evidence, no access. The one accusation that never requires proof. Boom. And there it is right there. The one accusation that never requires proof, blaming Israel or blaming Russia. You name it. There's a few of them. So there's more than one. There's a few accusations. But that's what Candace Owens does. The accusations that don't require proof. See, they want to keep you in a continual spiral of never knowing. Question everything, but never have it lead to anywhere. So then you continual questioning everything nonstop. And then you're stuck. You're stuck in the grift, and they can keep making money off you. They can keep getting your views, all that. That's the point of this grift. Always get the accusations and never acquire proof, as it keeps going and going and going. And they'll trust me, bro. They'll prove it someday. But thankfully, we got people like Data Republican on the job. And the grift, my friends, is falling apart very quickly for Candace and all of her friends. And so the grift report, as a result, will be much different in the near future as all these people's influence starts collapsing. But that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Please hit that like and subscribe. I actually have a hard out today because I got to take my son to an appointment. So, but I did had a couple super chats. Kevin said, yes, the no psyops, $10 super chat. Thank you, Kevin. He also sent me a $5 super chat that I missed, which said, when the grifters are defeated, maybe we can do the Maha report. And I love that idea because health is very important to me. So Kevin, I love your idea, and we might just get to that point. So I do apologize, guys. I don't have time to go through all your questions today or spend time in the chat like I usually would. Tomorrow, I will try to make it up to you. So I love you guys. I appreciate you for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe on your way out. If you want to support the channel, please consider going into the description, clicking the link, getting a free month to my Patreon, and getting in the Discord and becoming part of the community. Otherwise, I just hope you have a blessed day, and let's pray, get out of here. And if you missed last night's live with Tom Luongo and you love movies, you're going to want to watch it. All right. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody here, Lord. Thank you for their support, for watching and supporting this channel. And I just bless each and every one of them, Lord. I pray they have a great day. Father, we pray that you protect our president and for America to get back on track, Lord. This weekend was a stark reminder of how dangerous it can be. So, Father, and on this day, especially 2 years to the day when President Trump was shot, we remember. So, Father, we just pray for his protection, for the protection of everybody else. And we doubly pray it today, but also for wisdom going forward, Lord. Bless our country and let us leave a better nation, God, to our kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I appreciate you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great day. Check out the Tom Luongo stream. And yeah, just see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud.